Greg Gumbel with sports. Weekdays at 6 and 10.
Temperature. The performances of some players and teams. George Brett has not been in the lineup this week. He's halted at 396. Meanwhile, Earl Weaver's temper's a bit on edge. His Orioles have done a nosedive and now find themselves 4 back. But even as the races heat up, the rookies are outstanding. Bill Gullickson with a record-setting effort, 18 strikeouts against the Cubs in the National League, while over in the American League, Joe Charbonneau has them singing the praises of the Rookie of the Year in Cleveland. We'll have all 4 stories and more as we prepare for Major League Baseball. NBC Sports presents Major League Baseball, an inside look at baseball and a preview of today's games. Brought to you by Williams Electric Shave. Electric Shave makes your beard stand up for a really close shave. In Montreal, a matchup of National East contenders there. Steve Rogers going against Don Robinson as the Pirates meet the Expos. And here at Fenway Park, it is Tommy John against Mike Torres, the renewal of an old rivalry between the Yankees and the Red Sox. The Collegians have returned to school up in Beantown, and the temperatures are dropping into the low 60s. A crowd of 30,000 or more expected to see the renewal of an old rivalry, the Yankees and the Red Sox, on this September Saturday. Good afternoon, I'm Brian Gumbel. Welcome to Baseball on NBC. We've got our eye on 2 great pennant races today. One going on over in the National East. That one will pit the Expos against the Pirates. This one going on in the American East. The Yankees trying to hold off the Baltimore Orioles down the stretch. It's mid-September. Let's take a check at the standings. We start over in the American East, where the Yankees have opened it up to a 4-game edge over the Baltimore Orioles. In the American West, there is no excitement. Kansas City put it away long ago. They're 17 in front of the A's. Their magic number reduced to just 4. Over in the National West, it is the Dodgers and the Astros neck and neck, with Cincinnati now 3.5 games back. While over in the National East, Montreal on top. Philadelphia is in second place by 2. It's Pittsburgh now trailing by 4.5 as they meet the Expos in today's game. Outstanding performance last week turned in by this young man, Bill Gullickson. He's 21 years old, 6'3", 200 pounds. Against the Cubs on Wednesday, he made his record 8-4 and struck out 18 Cubbies in the process. That's a record for a rookie in the major leagues. Gave rise to a trivia question: whose record did he break? Well, he broke the old record of 15, held jointly by Carl Spooner of the 54 Dodgers and James Rodney Richard of the 71 Astros. Outstanding, too, was the performance of Rich Gossage. On Wednesday, the Yankees hard thrower earned his 26th save of the year as the Yanks defeated the Blue Jays by a count of 7-6. Gossage had retired 28 consecutive batters over a 7-game period in which he struck out 13. His 27th straight could be considered a relief pitcher's perfect game. And while the Yankees have been breezing, the Orioles and Earl Weaver have been having their problems. It was Steve Palermo who gave Weaver the thumb just the other night. The Orioles have nosedived just a bit, now fallen 4 back. Remember when Earl lost his temper not too long ago and got suspended as well as ejected? Well, now he's learned his lesson. He still loses his temper, but now he does it ever so slowly. It didn't stop the ejection, but it did keep him in uniform as the Orioles faltered a bit. As noted, one of the big pennant races is going on over in the National East, where Montreal now trying to hold off the Pirates and the Phillies, and they intend to do so with some strong young pitching that features some kids. Let's go to Tony Kubek. Tony?
Here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the Expos have won 9 of their last 11 games. Of those last 8 games, 5 have been shutouts. Scott Sanderson and Bill Gullickson, 2 youngsters, have done an awful lot. And Bill, usually you look for the veterans to take over down the stretch, but you kids have done it.
Yeah, we've come through, I think, when we needed a game to win. And as far as, you know, we got older guys in our team who are helping us out. You know, guys like Woody Fryman, Stan Bonson, Freddie Norman. Those guys are sort of helping us out as far as confidence, I think.
Do you feel the pressure?
There's somewhat of a pressure, but I only feel pressure when I think about losing and how I'm going to lose it. You know, and right now, I'm in somewhat of a groove, so all I'm thinking about is how I'm going to win, and so the pressure's sort of leveled off.
All right, thank you, Bill. Scott Sanderson last night might have been the biggest ball game of your career. You shut out the Pirates 1-0, challenging you for this division title, but Tanner came out and tried to rattle you. You said you were cutting the balls.
Well, just the inning before that, Dick Williams went out to check, or have the umpires check Rick Roden. It's obvious that he was cutting up the balls. Every foul ball we got back in the dugout, there was big gash marks in it, and so Dick thought he'd put a stop to it. And so Chuck came out, and he kind of made a farce out of the whole deal. So, yeah, he was trying to rattle me.
Well, you handled it very well, our thanks. Bill Gullickson, Scott Sanderson. Right now, let's go to Fenway Park, Boston. Back to Brian Gumbel.
Okay, Tony K, thank you much. A couple of other notes before we step aside for a moment. Rick Langford last night pitched his 22nd straight complete game, gave him 25 for the year. That is the most in 76 years. Bill Russell of the Dodgers broke a finger. He is out for the season. And Mark Fidrich, the Bird in Detroit, his shoulder is acting up once again. Injuries have hampered George Brett of late. When we come back, we will have a Brett update, and we will get to that right after this.
I'm going to start shaving.
It's going to be a few years, son. But when you do, you got something great to look forward to.
Aquavelva, right, Dad?
Right. Aquavelva's real cooling. It picks you up after a shave. And it's got a fresh, clean fragrance that the girls in your class are going to love. Aquavelva, it makes a man.
Feel like a man, right, Dad?
All right.
There's something about an Aquavelva man.
Chapter 9. I kicked in the door and shouted freeze to the lone figure in the room. Even in the darkness, I could see she was the most beautiful woman I ever met. Then I saw the light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than a regular beer, and it's less filling, she whispered. But the best thing is, it tastes so great. Suddenly, all the pieces fell into place, and I knew I'd come to the end of a long, long road. She poured, we drank. To be continued.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
This George Brett update is brought to you by Fram, makers of oil, air, and fuel filters, windshield wipers, and Autolite spark plugs. Not since Ted Williams in 1941 has a man managed to hit 400. George Brett trying to become that man, trying to become the 9th man to hit that level in the 20th century, having his problems. Been out all this week with injuries. It's been an injury-filled year for George. Back on April 25th, he bruised his heel going into second, missed a bunch of games. Then came the All-Star game. He was voted in as the starting third baseman, but wound up sitting on the sidelines. He had a .247 average back on May 21st. But it was after the All-Star game that he came storming back, proceeded to tear up the American League. He hit in 30 straight games. During that hitting streak, he batted .467. And then on August 24th, Brett reached the elusive 400 mark for the first time, getting it up to as high as .409 after a 5-for-5 day. How hot has he been? In 101 games, 155 hits. But now he is stalled at .396, and George Brett has just 20 games left to become the man to step into the shoes of Ted Williams.
Son, I'm giving you my old car, but I'm not going to give you the money for big repair bills. You can look after it right like I did. Change the oil and put in a new Fram oil filter when you're supposed to, or you can neglect it. A new Fram oil filter is about $5. A new engine, maybe $500. But the choice is yours. You can pay now or pay later.
Just yesterday, James Rodney Richard was released from the hospital where he has been confined since suffering a stroke on July 30th. We get an update on his condition from Houston and Larry Ennis.
It's been nearly 2 months since J.R. Richards suffered a stroke that ended the 1980 baseball season for him. Since then, he's been undergoing therapy to regain the strength on his left side that was weakened by the stroke. J.R. was released from the hospital yesterday, but will continue to receive therapy on an outpatient basis.
Primarily, his treatment consists now of two things: the exercise program, or the physical therapy, and then the occupational therapy, which are activities designed to help coordination and assist in activities of daily living and restore fine motions and so forth that have been disturbed as a result of his illness.
Daily living activities, he is close to regaining all those, but a long way off from being able to pitch again.
Right.
Most people seeing him for the first time were, boy, and to us, having seen him progress, he was much improved. We were happy. People seeing him were shocked, but he's looking pretty good right now.
He's come quite a long way from when you first saw him.
He's made marvelous progress, his strength and his hands. And
what about from an emotional standpoint? How much has he improved there?
Great deal. I was with him last night for several hours, and he's doing well.
So J.R. Richard is out of his Houston hospital room and on the road to leading a normal life. Whether his baseball career will continue is still one of the many unanswered questions in his case. Larry Innes for NBC Sports in Houston.
Even without JR, the Astros continue to hang tough. They are now dead even with the Dodgers in the National West. We're going to step aside for just a moment, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a guy who's putting in a strong bid for Rookie of the Year honors. They call him Super Joe out in Cleveland. We will see that after this.
I know, you're not getting a terrific shave from your electric razor. Maybe there's nothing wrong with your razor. Maybe there's something wrong with your face. Your beard is just laying there. Make it stand up with this. Williams Electric Shave. Look, every leading razor manufacturer tells you, use a pre-shave. Most people use electric shave. It gets your beard to stand up, so your razor shaves closer and with less irritation. Williams Electric Shave. Makes your beard stand up. Makes your razor shave better.
Using more gas and getting less mileage. These days, that's got to hurt. A dirty carburetor could be the cause. DuPont Gas Booster can help. Used as directed, Gas Booster paves the way to better mileage by cleaning your carburetor and fuel system. And continued use of Gas Booster will help keep your engine clean. Look for the facts wherever you buy Gas Booster, because using DuPont Gas Booster can help pave the way to better mileage. You and DuPont, there's a lot of good chemistry between us.
Join host Brian Gumbel for a revealing look at Raider quarterback Dan Pastorini, plus Pete Axtone's essay on gambling, NFL 80. It's as hard-hitting as the sport it covers.
The information booth.
It's said that if you play in New York or L.A., you do commercials and you get songs written about you. Well, out Cleveland way, Joe Charbonneau has a song. It's a hit record, and he is a hit in Cleveland.
It's a punk rock record, and I'm a punk rock baseball player.
Who's the newest guy in town? Go, go, Charbonneau. Turn the ballpark upside down. Go, go, Charbonneau.
I drive a 52 Chevy because I like old cars and old women, I guess. They're both great. I was born in '54, so I wanted to get something a little older than me to make me feel young.
Go, go, Charbonneau. Go, go, Charbonneau. Go, go, Charbonneau.
I was in Mexico and we were getting ready to play a game, and a guy came up to me, looked a little like Charles Manson, dirty T-shirt, long scraggly hair, and asked me where I was from. I told him California, and he stabbed me with a Bic pen.
Who's the one to keep our hopes alive? Go, go, Charbonneau.
One day I was sitting with some friends, we were talking. They were telling me all kinds of crazy stuff they could do in the minor leagues, and I said, well, I can drink beer through my nose. And I didn't really know if I could or not. I just said it. And then they said I'd see it, so I tried it, and it was easy. I can either drink it through a straw through my nose or just tip the can up to my nose and chug it. The last glass I really ate was a while back. I think the minor leagues, I ate a light bulb just on a bet. I enjoy my cowboy hats. I have two of them. I think this is my new favorite hat. It was given to me by a friend, Danny McHugh, who bought it in Chicago for me. And since he's bought this hat, I've hit 6 home runs. So it's my good luck hat now. You always want to win an honor, like Rookie of the Year would be a big honor. I think every rookie'd like to win it, but if it doesn't come my way, I think I could accept it.
Super Joe. The people in Cleveland may say Britt who, but for sure, Britt Burns of the White Sox, Joe Charbonneau of the Indians have turned it into a two-man race for American League Rookie of the Year honors. We've got baseball to come. It's the Pirates and the Expos, the Yankees and the Red Sox. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Today's pregame show was produced by David Stern. Our director, John Gonzalez. Technical director, Lenny Stucker. And our associate director, Bob Caminiti. Less than a month left of the season. We've got the best in baseball here on NBC. It's the Pirates and the Expos. That'll be Rogers against Robinson, the Yankees and the Red Sox, Tommy John against Mike Torres. I'm Brian Gumbel. Thanks for joining us. Now stay tuned for baseball on NBC.
Experience the spectacle of James Clavell's Shogun. Blackthorn, the shipwrecked English sea captain called Anjin-san. Toranaga, the warlord plotting to become Shogun, supreme military dictator. Mariko, the beautiful noblewoman who dares death to become Blackthorn's lover. Experience Shogun. Shogun the Week starts Monday night on NBC.
Our new car.
Only after we protect you with Polyglyco.
I'm getting Polyglycol all over me. Rust-proofing, textile and vinyl protection, Polyglyco sound shield, and paint sealant.
With the purchase of this package, we get a consumer protection plan from Polyglyco.
It includes a 1-year free membership in the USAC MD Motor Club.
And look, a finance guarantee during the first year will pay up to 80% of 11 car payments if I lose my job.
Polyglyco Consumer Protection Plan, available at new car dealers everywhere. Call this toll-free number for the dealers nearest you.
Yes, sirree. Them Daltons had Jesse and the gang trapped. Now, old Jesse had a way out. Of course, it worked much to the gang's liking, but Jesse had some Stroh's beer, and he knowed his gang would follow that Stroh's beer anywhere. Well, them boys got clean away. Now, you may not believe this here tale, unless, of course, you drink Stroh's beer.
Shogun the Week begins Monday, September 15th on Channel 5.
This is Dick Williams, the manager of the first-place Montreal Expos. A lot of you people in the States probably haven't heard too much about us. All over Canada they know about the Expos, and we hope to show you today why we're number one. We've got outstanding players. Rodney Scott, our second baseman. I consider him as valuable as any player I have on this team. Gary Carter, I think the finest catcher in the major leagues. Andre Dawson, center field. Larry Parrish at third. Warren Cromartie at first. We're making a few switches today, but you'll see all of our players and find out why we're number one in the National League East.
NBC Sports presents Major League Baseball Game of the Week. Today from Olympic Stadium, Montreal, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Montreal Expos. The Game of the Week is brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Menon. Menon products take care of people who take care of themselves. And by Ford and your Ford dealers, who bring you the better idea cars and trucks for the 80s. And by Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottler, who invite you to catch that Pepsi spirit. Almost 60,000 fans here this afternoon, and they have the fever, pennant fever. These Expo fans want the World Championship flag to fly in Canada. In fact, right here in Montreal. And last night's game was a typical down-the-stretch kind of game. It had everything. Controversy. There you see Pittsburgh manager claiming the ball was scuffed. A great catch by Andre Dawson in center field. A 1-0 victory for the Expos, and it takes clutch hitting and good pitching. Larry Parrish fights off a fastball, sends it back up the middle. Gary Carter scores the only run of the ball game, and the Expos win it 1-0. And as you would expect, a happy Expo team. Scott Sanderson, Gary Carter. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Garagiola. Alongside me, as always, will be Tony Kubek as we get ready for a big afternoon of baseball here in Montreal. With that victory last night, the Expos now lead the Phillies by 2 games. They lead the Pirates by 4.5. And the question is, not only can the Expos win it, but are the Pirates in trouble? Are they in big trouble? Well, Tony Kubek is going to ask that question of one of their key men.
All right, Joe, key man right here, Ed Ott, who started off so well, hitting around 300. And Ed, like so many of the Pirates, you got hurt. But I'll ask the question that Joe posed to you. Are you guys in big trouble?
We're only 4.5 games back with 20 games to go, and we play Montreal 4 more ball games. So we've had great success with them in the past. So I look for us to take 4 ball games from them. We hit the ball well last night, but didn't put any runs on the scoreboard. But it's one of those things where if we start to hit the ball in the gaps, we're going to score a lot of runs, and we're looking forward to this last 20 ball games of the season.
Say, you and Gary Carter, the Montreal catcher, had some words at home plate last night.
Well, Gary claimed that I tried to trip him when he tried to score, and he's right. I did try to trip him because that's my home plate. That's the way I feel about it. And in a ball game as important as the one last night, I'm going to try to mess up the guy going to score any way I can to try to keep a shutout going. And he didn't care for it, but it's one of those things that takes place.
You're honest, I'll say that for you, and tough. Our thanks to Ed Ott. We'll be back to Olympic Stadium in the lineup for today's game right after this message.
Break away from the commonplace. Mustang's a whole new breed of small car. A sleek, sure-footed thoroughbred that puts the kicks back in driving. Mustang, a world of high gas mileage. Mileage you might only expect from a boxy little car. Mustang! It's one fine animal.
Ford Mustang, America's most popular sports car.
Me, I take care of myself. Here and here. That's why I use Skin Bracer from Menon. It's for men who take care of their skin every day. You have to. Shaving is rough. Skin Bracer tightens your pores. That's the tingle. It refreshes your skin and smooths it. Hey, it's not cologne. It's skin care that feels good. You need that after shaving.
You smell terrific.
Thanks. I needed that.
Menon Skin Bracer takes care of men who take care of their skin.
Allstate challenges you. Find your homeowner's insurance policy, then bring it in and compare.
I personally accept Allstate's challenge.
Because all homeowners insurance is not alike. Allstate could show you ways to get more for your money.
Allstate's thrown us a challenge. Keep looking.
Allstate homeowners insurance could give you more value for the money. So find your policy and bring it in.
I found it.
You found it? You're in good hands with Allstate. That's a promise.
Steve Garvey cares about our youth. Steve helps the Children's Village of California in his fight against child abuse.
Dave Winfield cares about our youth. His Winfield Pavilions give kids a chance to catch baseball fever.
Willie Stargell cares about our youth. Willie raises millions of dollars in his fight against sickle cell anemia.
Baseball cares.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bavacqua of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I'll be bringing you our lineup today. Leading off and playing center field will be Omar Marino. Second in the league right now in stolen bases next to Ron LaFleur, who's not playing in this series. Omar is the first man in history to steal 70 bases in 3 consecutive seasons. Batting second and playing shortstop will be Tim Do-It-All Foley. Batting third and playing right field will be Dave the Cobra Parker. He can do everything. Mike Hitman Eastler will be playing left field and batting fourth. Bill Matlock will be playing third base. We call him Mad Dog, and if you watched him long enough, you'd know why. John the Hammer Milner will be playing first base and batting sixth. Ed Troll Ott will be doing the catching. Phil Scrap Iron Garner will be playing second base and hitting eighth. And Don the Hulk Robinson will be the pitcher. Good fastball slider. If you're wondering why I'm not playing, it's because we're trying to win. But I've got my bat right here in case they need me.
Okay, Kurt Bavacqua. And the defense here, and Tony, they're going to need a lot of defense with the shadows. This is a tough ballpark to see the ball.
Well, all you fans have to do is look at that ball. The bright sun, pitcher and catcher are in the shade, but that ball will look completely black. They will not be able to see the seams. And the way this Montreal pitching staff is going, 5 shutouts in the last 8 games. They've been tough without that. Montreal's team really, and on their stat sheets, they talk about team defense, team speed, and team pitching, and that's what they've done. It's all one. Steve Rogers, 2 shutouts in a row going for him, Joe.
20 consecutive scoreless innings coming into this game. He's got 4 complete games in a row. He's 14-10, 2.90 earned run average, 32 starts, 12 complete. He averages 5 strikeouts per 9 innings, 2.6 walks per 9 innings. And Kurt Bavacqua alluded to it. Ron LaFleur has a fiberglass cast on his left wrist for the purpose of immobilization. Ron collided with the wall chasing a foul ball on Thursday and suffered the injury to that wrist. He was examined by the doctor. He is available for pinch running duty, so he'll not be seen in this series. Expos won it last night, 1-0. Here is Moreno to lead it off. Ball 1.
Look at the glare off those seats. I'll tell you, the right fielder, Parker and Office at today's ball game, had the sun glaring right in their eyes at this time.
That's the way the field looks. Right center field, right field, dark in the infield and left field. That's what Moreno sees. He's looking into the shadow, sunny backdrop. That's a foul ball. 2 balls and 1 strike to count.
And that was an excellent shot from our low home plate camera, because that's about what the hitter sees. You figure that ball's coming at you in the high 80s, change of speeds, moving on the ball, curves, sliders, and Rogers has excellent control. You can't pick up the seams, you got a problem. And boy, it's just pitch black, that ball. Foley on deck.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Omar Moreno, who leads the National League in times at bat, 597. He's been the Iron Man for this Pittsburgh club. Moreno has played every game for the Pirates this season, 142.
Did you see the little finger on his left hand? He jammed it earlier in the season, end of May. He's going to have surgery, but he can't straighten it out.
Popped up. Chris Byron, shortstop, has it, and it's 1 away. One out, and the batter is Tim Foley. Dave Parker, the on-deck man.
Steve Rogers, the man on the mound, as we look at Foley for the Expos, is the guy that Tommy Lasorda said 2 years ago, and Tommy may have overstated it, but he's close, is the best pitcher in baseball. But he's had bad second halves in 78 and 79, but not this year.
1 strike to count on Foley. This crowd, they had some 56,992 yesterday, about the same here, maybe a little more. Tomorrow they're sold out. It holds 60,000 plus. 1 ball and 1 strike. They are really all excited here.
Well, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but they say that the CFL, Canadian Football League, attendance in this ballpark, because of baseball and the interest there, that the attendance is down considerably.
1-1 pitch. Ground ball. Scott, 2 outs. So nobody on, brings up Dave Parker. Parker's hitting .305, has 16 home runs, 74 runs batted in. Was he ever revved up during batting practice? Lee Lacy was taking batting practice, and Parker started to bang on the side of the cage and then dropped the bat and literally picked it up and slammed it. I'm talking about the batting cage. Now, he didn't lift it over his head, but he lifted it up off the ground. I don't know who it scared, but it scared me. A big man, Parker.
He has gained an awful lot of respect, not only from his teammates this year, but from everybody around the league and in baseball, because he may require surgery on that knee in the offseason.
Nice play by Dawson in center field. The ball was hit hard, but right at him. So it's 3 up, 3 down. Pirates do not score. We go into the bottom half of the first inning. No score. Scott, Office, and Dawson for Montreal.
Hold it. Hey, guys. All right, stop fooling around. Calm down. Hold it down. I mean, this is the first Light Bay alumni picture, okay? A little respect. All right, everybody here?
Everybody who is somebody.
Oh, very clever. All right, smile, will you?
Knock it off, Billy. You need this job.
Are you guys ready? Hold it. Hold it. Stay like that. Hold it. Now, just be yourselves. Calm down, calm down. Hold it.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
A bright red fire truck, a blue calliope, a yellow moon, a pink balloon, a golden Dixie jamboree. Yes, America's true colors come through on GE.
GE TV brings you America's true colors, vivid and lifelike. And with GE's special VIR2 circuit, the color is automatically adjusted.
Yes, America's true colors come through on GE. GE, we bring good things to life.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to NBC's Game of the Week. We got a good one for you this afternoon between the Pittsburgh Pirates and yours truly, the Montreal Expos. I've asked NBC to let me do the lineup this afternoon, and here it is. Leading off playing second base is Rodney Cool Breeze Scott. He's so cool, he even smokes cools. Batting second, playing right field for the injured Ellis Valentine, is Rolling Office. Batting third this afternoon will be Andre Dawson, most underrated center fielder in the game today. Batting fourth, playing first base, is Willie Montanez. Batting fifth and doing the catching this afternoon is Gary Tease Carter. Batting sixth this afternoon and playing left field, yours truly, Warren Cromartie. Batting seventh, playing third base, Larry Billy Joel Parrish. Batting eighth this afternoon, playing shortstop, is Chris Spire. And pitches this afternoon is Steve Rogers with a record of 14-10. Before we go, I'd like to say hello to my mother and father and watching the rest of my family in Miami, Florida. Back to you, Tony.
I don't want it, Warren. You take it, Joe.
Well, you can do the defense. He threw it to you.
All right. Pirate defense, as we look at that sun and that shadow, making it tough to hit. Don Robinson is the man on the mound for the Pirates. Left field, Mike Easler. Center field be Moreno, of course. Parker in right field. Third base, Bill Madlock. Shortstop, Tim Foley. Phil Gardner at second. The hammer, Milner is at first base. Ott the catcher, Robinson the pitcher.
Don Robinson, he'll be facing Rodney Scott. Scott hitting .234, no home runs, 38 runs batted in. Dick Williams calls him the most valuable player on his team and says he is the best .235 hitter in baseball. He'll be 27 years old in October. Born in Indianapolis, now lives in Indianapolis. Stayed right there. Ball one.
Scott spent some time in the Oakland organization, then the Cubs, played about a half a season there. He's really fitting to this lineup.
One ball to count. Two balls. Scott came over from the Chicago Cubs with outfielder Jerry White for the contract of outfielder Sam Mejias in 1978. 2 balls, no strikes. Don Robinson. There's his strike.
One of the things that Dick Williams, the manager, wanted to go along with his young pitching staff was to strengthen the left or the right side of his infield. With Scott and Montañez there and Cromartie most of the year, he's done it.
Center field, Moreno going back. He's there. So there's one away. Moreno, as Tony has mentioned many, many times, plays a very shallow center field, but he can back pedal.
It's got to be a little tough, too, Joe, picking the ball off the bat for these outfielders. Coming out of the shade into the sun. He, like Gary Maddox, just outruns the baseball.
So one away. And Rolling Office is the hitter.
Playing for Valentine. Valentine's had, seemed like a pinched nerve in his right hip. He's been out quite a while. And of course, Valentine was out because he was hitting a cheekbone earlier this year.
Chopper, Robinson will take it himself in time. So they're 2 up and 2 down. 2 quick outs. Here it is from center field.
Robinson with a good slider. That looked like a little sinker that he just beat down in front of home plate. He got off the mound for a big guy pretty well because off his runs. We saw Don Robinson at the end of last year. We must have seen him pitch about 4 times, Joe. He won a game in the World Series, won in the Championship Series. And boy, down the stretch, he was really tough. And he had that torn muscle in the back of his shoulder, his pitching shoulder, and he pitched right through it.
He was a tough pitcher for him.
Oh, we overly use the word sometimes tough competitor, but boy, that guy out there is.
Dawson's the batter. Low ball one out, didn't see it. Robinson is 5-8 on the year with a 4.32 earned run average. Average is 5.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. As far as 1980 is concerned, that's what he did in 1979. 2.6 walks per 9 innings. It's 4 in 1 lifetime against the Expos. Center field. Coming in fast, Moreno. He's there. He makes the play. I tell you, even up here, you hesitate because it's very difficult to pick up the ball with the shadows. So at the end of 1 complete inning, no score. Easler, Madlock, and Milner for the Pirates in the second.
Hey, you sold out a Gillette track too.
Delivery's coming any second. But why should a busy man like you have to wait when this razor will do?
Gillette Track 2 shaves me closer and smoother than that. I'll wait.
These'll fit your Track 2 handle.
I know what I'm getting with Track 2 twin blades, but those, I'll wait.
But to guys who use Gillette Track 2, no other blade will do.
Track 2? We'll wait.
Gillette, when it comes to shaving, we give you the edge.
Right Guard knows a man sweats more than a woman. That's why a man needs Right Guard. Right Guard has a male effectiveness formula. A formula so strong, more men count on it to help stop perspiration odor every day. Right Guard knows there's a difference between you. Men perspire more. And that's what Right Guard's for.
Hello, insurance company. Look, one of my trees just fell in my living room. Yes, and I'd like to speak to the agent who sold me my policy. What do you mean he doesn't handle claims? Look, my name, all you want is my policy number. My policy.
He should have gone to an independent insurance agent. He not only sells insurance, he helps you collect when you have a claim. Look for the big I symbol. Your independent agent. Treat you like a person, not a number.
Honey, tell him the number's under a branch.
Thursday on Games People Play, round 2 of the toughest bouncers. Some amazing foul ball catches and a football coach who won a battle on and off the field. Games People Play Thursday.
Mike Easler leads it off here in the second, no score. Let's take a look at what happened in the major leagues yesterday. Montreal beat Pittsburgh 1-0. Scott Sanderson, the 5-hitter. St. Louis beat the Phillies, a doubleheader, 7-4 and 5-0. In that first game, Leon Durham had a grand slammer. There's a ball. Vukovic was the winner. Dodgers 5, Cincinnati 2. Sutton's now 11-4. Reds are 3.5 back. Bill Russell broke a finger. He's out for the year. Used to be San Francisco 5-3. So Astros and Dodgers both at 80 wins and 60 losses. 2 balls and no strikes. Atlanta 6, San Diego 2. Braves snapped Padres' 7-game winning streak. Cubs beat the Mets 10-5, 14 innings, 13 straight loss for the Mets. Kingman hit his 15th home run. It's out of play, 2 balls and a strike. Yankees beat Boston 4-2. Jackson 37th home run. Rudy May, and what a year he's having, 14-5. The winner, Gossige's 27th save. Yankees have won 11 out of the last 12. Toronto beat Baltimore 7-5. 2-1 pitch to Easler. 3-1. Toronto snapped the Orioles' 5-game winning streak. Baltimore now 4 behind the Yankees. Flanagan was the loser. Oakland 9, Kansas City 5. Langford pitched his 22nd consecutive complete game. He's completed every game pitched since May 18th. He's 16-11. Foul ball. Brett missed his 6th consecutive game. California beat Texas 8-4. Detroit 6, Cleveland 3. And Mark Fidrich had to leave the game in the first inning after pitching. There's Willie Stargell. I'm sure you recognize him. Fidrich had a soreness in his right arm. He only pitched to 2 batters, and he had to leave. White Sox beat Minnesota 5-3. Farmer had his 26th save. Out of play. Milwaukee 7, Seattle 1. Thomas 34th home run. Yount 21st home run. And George Steinbrenner's in the news again. Uncle George blasted Toronto, saying they didn't use their best pitchers against Baltimore. Peter Bavasi of Toronto wants a public apology. And so the soap opera continues. 3-2 pitch. Foul back. No score.
I guess George is mad because Bobby Maddox pitched Paul Mirabella the first game of the series against Baltimore. In an expansion club, you don't have that much to work with. And I'm not knocking Mirabella. He was just called up from the minor leagues. But I think it's ridiculous when you're down sitting several thousand miles away to criticize somebody's pitching rotation.
They want an investigation. Right field. Way back. Office. Near the wall. And way back. Home run. Mike Easler hits his 19th home run of the year. And here's a fellow at the beginning of the year would have been happy to just get 20 times at bat. And that Pirate bench is really a reception committee as they wait for Easler to come back to the bench. He's giving them a 1-0 lead.
Here's a guy, Easter, who just hit this home run over Office's head and Dawson's head that spent something like 10, 11 years in the minor leagues, had the persistence and patience, and then Tanner gave him the break. I tell you, without Easter and Lacey, especially Easter, the first half of the year, Pirates wouldn't even be this close, and they really tattooed the ball.
Madlock, ball one. Mike Easler leads the Pirates with 19 home runs, and 11 of those 19 home runs have come on the road. 1-0, Pittsburgh leading. Didn't get it. 1 ball and 1 strike on Bill Madlock. Madlock hitting .269, 8 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Rogers, easy play. Madlock is out.
Joe, in 11 games in the month of September, the Expos pitching staff had not allowed a home run. 12th game, that's the first home run. Well, Willie Stargell, you saw him a while ago sitting on the bench smiling, but this ball club misses him. Everybody has told you that. Since he's been DL'd, they've been 7-17. Let's just
Well, Willie was checked by the doctor the other day, and they said that it'll be about 2 weeks before he can think about batting again. He's trying to strengthen his leg that he hurt by lifting weights. And hopefully that we have Willie ready for the playoffs, because we sure can use his big bat in our lineup at that time.
Well, there he is, checking his F5-6.
The day he was placed on the disabled list, the Pirates were 2 games ahead of Montreal, first place.
You'd think you were watching the camera commercial. There's Stargell taking the picture, and one of his teammates, I can't make out who it is, taking a picture of Stargell taking the picture. You think that club is not loose? Milner bounced out unassisted to Montanez. It brings up Ed Ott. Ott hitting .272, 7 home runs, 38 runs batted in. He's been having his problems at the plate. A tough battler, this guy. Takes it high and inside. It's ball one.
He's been playing with torn ligaments in his right foot. He jammed it going back to the fence for a pop foul, Joe. He can't pivot, but he was right at 300 before he had that injury.
2 balls and no strikes.
You know, Joe, talking about this Pirate ball club, they're still an excellent ball club, but they are so hurt. It would seem almost impossible for them to be able to come back with Parker playing half speed. Stargell probably out. Foley's been hurt. Ott's hurt. Jacoby has not been pitching well.
2 balls and 1 strike to count, 2 outs, 1 run is in. Ed Ott has dropped 31 points on his average since August 1st. He went from 303 to 272. That's the kind of a slump he's been in. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 2 outs. Mike Easler's given the Pirates a lead with a home run here in the top of the second. His 19th of the year. That was the first run given up by Rogers in 21 innings. Off the handle, short center field. Everybody going out, coming in. Dawson, he makes the play. He covered a lot of ground. Nice play by Dawson. So that ends the top of the second inning, but the Pirates take the lead on a home run by Easler. It's 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Montanez, Carter, and Cromartie for the Expos.
There's a feeling deep inside you, a spirit you just can't hide. And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
When our band's cooking, the music smokes. But not me, because like a lot of my friends, I use Skoal smokeless tobacco. I just take a pinch of that good-tasting wintergreen flavored Skoal between my cheek and gum, and it gives me real tobacco pleasure without ever lighting up. So when you want something that smokes, listen to the Charlie Daniels Band. But when you want real tobacco enjoyment without smoking, try Skoal. A pinch is all it takes. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Greasy fingerprints, lipstick, scuff marks, and plain old dirt. It's a real challenge to regular interior flat wall paint, but to Dutch Boy Super Latex Flat Enamel, it's child's play, and we're going to prove it. Go get it, guys. Dutch Boy doesn't absorb stains, and it's tough enough to really scrub. No streaks, no stains, just fresh and clean. Get Dutch Boy Super Latex Flat Enamel. On sale now at participating dealers.
Next Saturday, it's the fleet-footed Ron LaFleur and the Expos against the heavy-hitting Cardinals. Or see the Yankees and Red Sox renew their heated rivalry. Check local listings.
Well, the NBC Peacock is from WPTZ in Plattsburgh, New York. Jim Gratton, who is working his way through the crowd here. And we're proud as a Peacock to bring you this game and, of course, our Yankee-Red Sox game. And next week, you'll see the Red Sox and the Yankees in New York, or the Montreal Expos and the St. Louis Cardinals next Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern time, right here on NBC. So you check your local listing for the game and time in your area as we follow this pennant race right down to the end. And then, of course, we climax it with the World Series, which you'll see right here on NBC. And what a race it's going to be. 3 divisions really battling it out, and Kansas City's got it locked up, but we still have the race for 400 that George Brett is involved in. As we look at Willie Montanez. Fastball is high, ball 1. He came over from San Diego on September 1, 1980. He got his first hit as an Expo last night. Two balls and no strikes.
He's one of those guys who is fun to watch play. You can call him a hot dog, call him what you want, and that's what Williamson. When I didn't have him, he was a hot dog. Now that I've got him, I know what he means to a ball club. He's a good fielder. He can hit a ball out for you at times. Used to be a pretty good runner, too. But he can really put it on, can he?
Oh, and he catches pop flies. We'll show you if he gets the opportunity today. He lines it foul. He flips that bat like a baton. He got a base hit last night. He pointed to right field. Two balls and 2 strikes on Willie Montanez. 3-2. In fact, the expression is that there's not enough mustard in the ballpark to cover this hot dog. But when he plays, he's entertainment. I like it. Didn't get it. He's out on strikes. Willie Montanez is the first strikeout victim of Don Robinson.
I'm not so sure Montanez even saw that ball. Robinson has an excellent curveball. When he had that shoulder problem last year, he couldn't throw it. He was just throwing sliders and fastballs. But if he's got the curve going with this kind of background, look out.
So there's one away, and Gary Carter is a batter. Carter hitting .256, has 24 home runs, 82 runs batted in. Tell you, he's some kind of catcher, too. He's durable. Good defensive catcher. High ball 1. He scored the only run of the ball game last night. Gary Carter, 25 years old. Well, he's 26 now. Born in Culver City, California. Kirkland, Quebec is his home now. Popped up. Hot and Madlock. Madlock says, I'll take it. 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Warren Cromartie playing left field. Cromartie with 14 home runs, 66 runs batted in, hitting an even 300.
I'll tell you, I think you played with this man. Did you play with Danny Menendez? He's in charge of the farm system here.
Did I play with him?
Yeah.
No. He's from East St. Louis, though. I've known him 100
I
years.
know you have. He's done a heck of a job with this farm system. The
Yes,
kids
he
they
has.
brought through this, Cromartie, Dawson, Valentine, who's not playing any, the kid pitchers. Eddie Lopatz does a little bad scouting. He's had something to do with the pitchers in this organization.
Down the left field line, but it's fouled. Danny's been around a long time. Qualified man.
You don't have a good man in that spot. To me, it's still the lifeblood of baseball, even with free agency. If you don't get somebody to scour that country for these kids, boy, they've done an excellent job. Took them a long time, 10 years to play 500. We've got a big, beautiful stadium here. Someday, I guess it's going to be domed, a top put on it.
There's a strike. 2 quick strikes. Harry Perry's the on-deck batter. Yankees did not score top of the first. John against Torres. Mets 1, Cubs nothing, end of 2. And Cromartie is out on strike, so it's 1-2-3 for the Expos in the second inning. 6 straight outs for Robinson and the Pirates. We complete 2 innings. It's Pittsburgh 1, Expos nothing. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
NBC Nightly News. Aggressive, immediate, stimulating, vital, investigative, accurate. Now, John Chancellor, weeknights, NBC Nightly News.
You've got the look, I want to know better. You've got the look that's all together, working, playing, day or night. Jordache has the fit that's right. Jordache knows.
Available at Bonwit Tellers.
When I want to go to town, the CTA takes me around. I don't need change to ride the range because I hit them off with a pass. The CTA pass.
When I want to move real fast, I drop back and throw a pass. When I ride the train, I do the same. No fumble for change with a pass. My CTA pass.
The CTA monthly pass. Unlimited rides, unlimited transfers, weekdays, weekends, just $30. I get passes all day long.
Sunday night on News Center 5, Mike Jackson begins a special report on video technology. Technology that is changing your viewing habits. Video discs and video cassette recorders give you the freedom to select and watch programs at your convenience. Cable and pay TV will offer more selection, but you'll pay a higher price. Will the time come when television is no longer in the room, but actually is the room? Join us for television. The sky's the limit, starting Sunday on News Center 5 at 10.
On Cue features people and places you'll want to know about, Saturdays at 6.
Oh, is it a chipmunk? Is it a squirrel? Is it a cat? Getting to where Marlon Perkins is going to have to do these games. I don't know who he represents. Maybe the Montreal Chipmunks, as Kenny Fouts, our director, said. Bill Gardner takes it high, ball 1.
A little bit cool up here in Montreal, especially in the shade. Temperature about the low 60s.
There's the strike. I tell you, one of the real disadvantages of being bald, and about the only one I can think of, is to come from sunny Phoenix, 100 degrees, to Montreal last night. The old knob really got cold. Fastball outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yankees, Boston after 1 inning, no score. It's the only disadvantage, huh?
That's it. And reading those dumb ads is talk about a cure for baldness like it's some kind of bad disease. 3 balls and 1 strike. Cure for baldness.
Made you a couple dollars.
Well, it's the only head I got. I'd like to trade it in.
That's what I meant.
3-1 pitch. There's the strike. Gardner is hitting the 5 of the last 6 games. 8 for 23 with 4 RBIs, so he's been hot. For the year, he's hitting .261. It's out of play.
I got an informal poll. A writer in Toronto, Neil McCarl, has done it 4 or 5 years. He polls all the managers in the National American League, different categories. You talked about Carter a while back. Managers voted him the best throwing catcher. National League. The guy batting right now was second to Joe Morgan in the National League, the managers feel, as far as being the smartest player, Phil Garner.
Just flies to right field. 1 out.
A few surprises in there when you look at it. Best infield arm, Gary Temple, but the best defensive infielder, they voted Ozzie Smith of San Diego. Few players from these 2 teams right here. Omar Moreno, fastest runner. LaFleur, runner-up. Ellis Valentine, best outfield arm. He's not playing today.
Best breaking ball's interesting. I'm looking for some of the guys having big years, you know, like Carlton, for example.
Well, he got best breaking ball, Blyleven, runner-up, Steve Carlton. Foul ball. How about best pinch hitter? Mike Easler. One of these 2 ball clubs. Most dangerous hitter, Steve Garvey. Runner-up, Dave Parker. And Dave Parker's been a half a ball player with that bad knee this year.
Best two-strike hitter, Pete Rose. That's quite a list.
It really is, and the managers put it together. I think it's very, very interesting.
Well hit.
Nice
Spire
play.
jumps and makes the play. Nice play by Chris Spire. 2 outs.
Rogers appeared to get the ball in on Robinson. May have hit it off the fist. A little bit up on the bat toward the handle. Didn't hit it really well, but Spire timed it perfect. Since the All-Star game, Chris Spire, well, he got off the ground. Chris Spire's been playing outstanding shortstop. He's a little weak in that position over the last couple of years, but Williams can't rave enough about him. He's been starting to hit a little bit too, Joe.
Said he's been getting some key hits for him. Here is Omar Moreno now. 2 outs, nobody on. Pittsburgh is leading 1-0. They got that run in the second inning when Mike Easler led off with his 19th home run of the year. Fastest runner, Omar Moreno. LaFleur was a runner-up in this poll that Tony's talking about. Best base runner, LaFleur, with Moreno runner-up.
And the guy who they said has got the best fastball, J.R. Richard.
Ground ball, Spire, big hop, guns it to first, in time. So it's 3 up, 3 down for the Pittsburgh Pirates, top of the third. We go to the bottom half of the third. Pittsburgh 1, Montreal nothing. It'll be Parrish, Spire, and Rogers for the Montreal Expos in the bottom of the third.
What I know about my car could fit in the glove compartment. I just want someone to work on it I can trust.
My mechanics and I are professionals. We take pride in our work, and that builds trust.
I've always figured the best mechanics use quality parts.
If a part fails, it's my reputation that's damaged. So I use Napa brand parts. Lots of them are better than original parts.
For quality parts you can trust, look for the Napa sign. When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
I'm Johnny Bench, and I know how to prevent runs. This is how I do it at home plate. And this is how I do it at home with Krylon spray paint. Krylon goes on easy on metal or wood. The special quick dry formula helps prevent runs and drips. So you get a smooth, professional finish in as little as 2 hours.
Johnny, the table looks great.
Yep, no runs, no drips, no errors. Krylon for the do-it-yourself professional finish.
Hey, Coach is back!
What's going on?
Lunch.
Burgers, huh?
Nah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Coach says the Colonel only uses fresh quality chicken. Coach wants us to eat right. He says Kentucky Fried Chicken's a great meal at a sensible price.
Smart coach.
Smart enough to know what my boys like best.
Right on, Hank!
It's so nice to be so good about a meal, so good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
John Kibler, the plate umpire, and he hoped that his mother-in-law, living in Cincinnati, he took a day off to visit her, is getting along well. John going to check the baseball. And while he checks the baseball, let me remind you about the football. NBC Sports will bring you week 2 of the 1980 football season. It starts with NFL 80, and then you'll see the Steelers against the Colts or the Oakland Raiders against the San Diego Chargers. And then we're going to regionalize the country, so you'll see some other regional games, and that's tomorrow on NBC. So you check your local listing for the game and time in your area. We're going to feature Steelers and Colts, Oakland and San Diego. Should be a big afternoon. 1 strike to count on Larry Parrish. Our crew really scatters after these baseball games. Strike 2. Our baseball producer, George Finkel, will head to Baltimore. Kenny Fouts goes to Miami. And Tony goes to Appleton, Wisconsin. Is that where you go? You bet. Two-strike pitch. Got him. He must not have seen that ball. He had a real feeble attempt. 3rd strikeout for Robinson. 1 out brings up Chris Spire. We'll pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in Montreal. Expos and the Pirates with the Pirates out in front, 1-0. We're in the bottom half of the third. One out, nobody on. And the home run by Easler, the only score on that big scoreboard right now. Inside, ball one.
Expos team, National League team batting, they are 8th, 256. St. Louis is first, Philadelphia second, Pittsburgh is third. With that additional speed they've got, Joe, they generate some runs. They're first in the major leagues in stolen bases. A little bit like Kansas City in that respect, I think, over in the American League, where they may not have a whole lot of power, but they steal so many bases, a single or a walk, you can almost say it's a double.
And that LaFleur and Scott combination is something. Hot shot right at the shortstop Foley. He was there. 2 up, 2 down. Brings up the pitcher Rogers.
Tim Foley, one of the best at positioning himself. He's a step or two slower than many shortstops that you find, but he has such great anticipation. In fact, before that ball was hit, Joe, he had already anticipated and taken a half a step or so to his right. So a faster player who just stood stationary and didn't play the hitter and his pitcher, who played good scientific defense, might have made that a tough play, but Foley's got great experience. The Gene Mock influence. He's given Mock credit so many times.
Well, Mock convinced him that not all major league players go to the Hall of Fame. So you play within yourself. Line foul. Rogers 68 times at bat. There's 12 base hits.
Talked a moment ago about LaFleur and Scott. LaFleur, Joel told you, has that cast with a sprained wrist. But LaFleur and Scott, LaFleur with 91, Scott with 58 bases, have combined for more steals than any two teammates in Major League history. They surpassed Brock and McBride. Of course, that was the great year. 74. Brock had 118.
We could be in for a record setter this afternoon if Scott could get on and steal a couple bases. You'd have two guys stealing 60 or more bases on the same club. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count.
Saw Lou in Toronto a couple days ago. He was traveling around for the ball club, Montreal bench. Everybody's asking about base stealing. The 2 kids up there, Garcia and Griffin, the shortstop, second base, were talking to Brock about stealing. He had time for them all.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Maury Wills really started it all, just changed the whole complexion, and Brock came along and really injected enthusiasm and excitement and made it a science. Fouled out a play. Stolen bases, you look at it, National League, LaFleur 91, Moreno 85, Collins 67, Scott 58, Richards 53. And we want to talk about some of the leaders. I tell you, some well-kept secrets. National League hitting leader. Who do you think it is? It's Bill Buckner, 324. That's high. 3 and 2. Templeton, 323. Hernandez, 317. Cruz at 315. Cedeno, 314. McBride, 313. There's his strike. So another 1-2-3 inning, and Robinson has retired the first 9 men that he has faced. We complete 3 innings of baseball here. The score, Pittsburgh 1, Montreal nothing. It'll be Foley, Parker, and Eastman for the Pirates in the 4th.
You know, it's amazing how similar we are. We have the same last name. And we both played baseball for the same team. We even drank the same beer, light beer from Miller. And we drink it for the same reason. Light has 1/3 less calories than their regular beer. And it's less filling. But we drink it because it tastes so great. Now, I know we're incredibly alike, but don't be confused. We are not identical twins. I'm at least 2 inches taller than he is.
Make beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Mr. and Mrs. Bauman, I suppose you bought your Ford Granada for its classic looks, like your Mercedes.
But not actually. We bought it for its classic mileage and how far it goes between fill-ups.
Granada has the numbers we need today.
Well, then I suppose its comfort and luxury impressed you.
To be honest, we were more impressed with Granada's traditional high resale value.
And its price.
Then you really didn't care that your Granada looked like your Mercedes?
Well, now, wait a minute. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, no, neither would I.
For all the right reasons, it's a modern American classic, the 1980 Granada.
Tomorrow, enjoy a full day of regional football featuring the awesome Steelers versus the Burt Jones-led Colts and the Raiders-Chargers clash. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Well, as we take a look at the crowd here at Montreal, let me remind you that Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, it's games people play, and a lot of you, a lot of us, we wait for it, we watch it. It is a ratings hit. So we got a dandy on our hands here, and this Thursday we'll have the return of Mr. T. You remember the bouncer? Well, it's America's Toughest Bouncers competition. This will be the Mid-America Regionals. And then on Spirit of Man, Bruce Jenner takes a special look at a determined high school coach in his battle both on and off the field. And the stunt of the week, Bill Shirk will be back, and this time he'll try his great escape over a pool of hungry, man-eating sharks. Thursday, games people play. A lot of you are watching it, and a lot more will be. Take it in the spirit of the show. Just pure enjoyment. Center field, Dawson should have no problem. He's there.
Mr. T, the guy in the first show that they did, went head first through that door. That's the guy, the bouncer.
That's a big guy. Looks like he ought to have a license plate on his back or something. Mr. T. Here comes Dave Parker. He lined to center field his first time up. You know, talking about batting leaders, we all hear about George Brett in the American League hitting .396. Cecil Cooper's hitting .360. How about Delaunay hitting .349? Mickey Rivers is hitting .333. Rod Carew at .332.
Harry the Hat Walker pupil, Delaunay. Delaunay also was taught about base stealing by Maury Wills, as was Omar Moreno.
Say, there's some guys having some big years that are just being overshadowed by the races and Brett's chase for 400. Curveball high. Home runs, Jackson has 37, Thomas 34, Ogilvy's got 34, Armas 31, and Murray's got 25. RBI, Cecil Cooper 106, Al Oliver 103, Brett 100, Jackson 98, Armas 96, Ogilvy 96. Pitching, 220 game winners, Stone 23-6, John is 20-7, Norris 19-8, Gura 18-6, Leonard is 18-9, Barker's 18-9. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike. Earned run averages in the National League. Sutton leads at 2.16. Royce 2.24. Carlton 2.34. Zachary 2.84. And Rogers, who's pitching right now, 2.90. And Vida Blue at 2.90. Montanez has it. Flips to Rogers, and Parker is out.
After an inning and a half, Yankees Boston, no score. Talking about pitching and ERA, the Montreal Expos are 4th in pitching National League earned run average. Pittsburgh is 6th. Houston leads it, followed by the Dodgers, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. But Montreal recently has moved up. Their staff has been exceptional. End of August, early September. Real tribute, I think, to Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, came over from Kansas City. And Harvey Haddix has done a marvelous job. When you figure that this Pittsburgh attack is not that good with everybody hurt. Pitchers going out there knowing they've had to hold teams close, and they've done it. Did it last night, and they lost 1-0. Roden pitched a brilliant game.
Ball 1 on Mike Easler. Parker against the Expos hitting .345 going into today's game. Easler .368 going into today's game. One ball, no strikes. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. The only run on the scoreboard, the responsibility, or this man's responsible for it, Mike Easler. A home run is 19th of the year. Nice play by Scott. He got it. Beautiful play. So it's 3 up and 3 down.
They call him Cool Breeze, and what a play he made.
So we go into the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Pirates over the Expos.
There's something about an Aquavelva man.
My name is Kai Yastrzemski, and I've been playing Major League Ball for a lot of years. I've seen a lot of ball players come and go, and lots of aftershaves too. I've always liked Aquavelva. No fancy perfumes, no fancy prices. Just a good, clean, refreshing fragrance that makes a man smell like a man. Try them all if you want to, but you'll find out. There really is something about an Aquavelva man.
Shell Fire and Ice 10W40 motor oil became famous for protection. How about gas mileage? To dramatize average lab test results, we have 2 cars. One with the improved Shell Fire and Ice formula, the other with the old. each with 1 gallon of gas. One car out of gas. The other, with the improved formula, goes 1/3 mile farther. Shell Fire and Ice. Formulated for better gas mileage.
That's Pat Hill. She owns the dress shop next to my store. Looks worried about her problem dandruff. I wish she'd ask me.
Mr. Owens, which shampoo?
Ever tried Tegrin?
But can it really work on my itching and flaking?
Well, in a national survey, 3 out of 4 dermatologists judged Tegrin's medication effective in fighting even problem dandruff.
I'll size it up.
Goodbye. How's that problem dandruff?
Tegrin's my style, Mr. Owens.
Prove it to yourself. Tegrin works.
Shogun, the passion. Shogun, the week on NBC. Begins September 15th.
We've got an old-fashioned pitcher's battle going on here as our NBC Peacock continues to make his way through the stands, finishing up a big dance. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. In any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited.
After 2 full innings, no score, Yankees in Boston.
And here we've got 1 run and only 1 hit in the ball game. That was a home run by Mike Easler. Robinson has retired 9 men in a row. Rogers has allowed only 1 base runner and 1 hit and 1 run and home run by Easler. So we got a real pitcher's battle going here. Baltimore, Toronto, a rain delay. Cleveland 1, Detroit nothing, end of 3. Mets 1, Cubs nothing, end of 2. There's the strike. 2 strikes. Rodney Scott. He flied to center field his first time up. Two-strike pitch. Low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Speed and defense. That's what Expos ball clubs have been built around, and this guy is really giving it to him.
Low, 2-2.
Imagine all the frustration this ball club has gone through down through the years, even trying to finish 500. Last year's the first year that they did. Toronto, of course, suffering the same thing now.
Dick Williams has really done a job with them. Right back to Robinson. He drops it, but he recovers in time, and Scott's out. 10 men in a row.
Here's Williams. Won a pennant for Boston. For Oakland, here's Scott from our center field camera. Not a whole lot of balls have been hit hard in this ball game. You've seen some strikeouts. Robinson has got 4, but you can see how close Scott made that play after just a slight bobble by Robinson.
So there's 1 away, nobody on. 1-0 Pittsburgh leading. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Dick Williams looking on, looking for some runs. Office takes a strike on the outside corner. He has 32 hits in his last 91 times at bat. Over 35 games, an average of .352. Rolling Office. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Chuck Tanner, they're still the world's champions. Boy, things aren't looking that good for them. They've got to put together a winning streak. They have to do a lot of it with pitching because their offense is really hurting.
That's what he talks about. He said, we just got to win these 2, and we got to go over to Philadelphia and do it.
Well, they had a meeting, a team meeting that Bill Robinson, one of the team leaders, called 2 days ago. Took the coaches, said, go on out, Tanner, you stay out, and they hashed over things and just said basically, hey, listen, Stargell's gone. Looks like for the rest of the year, so we can't keep saying we're not the same team without Willie. I personally feel, Joe, that as great as Willie Stargell is, the man that they miss most having a complete ball player is the guy in right field, Parker. Because he can hurt you so many more ways.
Willie was a steadying influence, that intangible when it gets down to the pennant days, though.
Ooh, guy can beat you with his bat, his legs.
Give me those tangibles. 3-2 pitch, a Rolling Office. Base hit in the right field. He's on. That's the first base hit of Don Robinson. Office is on. He was signed as a free agent in 1979. He's done quite a job, and he's just given the Expos a base runner.
Sinker ball, he got up. Office got the barrel of the bat out in front. Gardner playing him a little bit up the middle, so they've got a runner. He's got pretty good speed. And Dick Williams loves to use it. That's why he's leading the major leagues in steals.
Brings up Andre Dawson. Dawson, 26 years old. Selected by the Expos in the 11th round draft, June 1975. Signed by Bill Adair. He's been a consistent player. Off the handle. Foley is there. Trapped
it. He's got
he
double
throws
play.
To first. Back. They have to tag
What a
him.
play.
No, safe. They're going to have an argument. Here comes Tanner.
Play that only the smart players make, and that's Foley. He saw that Dawson did not run, so he trapped the ball, threw it to first base where the force was removed, and then the snap throw from Milner. They're arguing right now. Here's the throw. The force is removed. He's got to tag it. Here it comes. It was a good call. He was in. He was a good call.
It looked like he was in there.
Office is the man that made the good play because he wasn't even tagging up. Bruce Fleming at second base right there. And I think our other angles showed better that Dawson's foot was on the bag and he tagged him up on the cap. I'll tell you, what an alert play by Tim Foley. Here it is from the upside. Watch Dawson, his left foot. Remember, the force is removed. Gardner brings the tag down. The come-up slide. With the cloud of dust, you don't know where his foot is, but that come-up slide, Bruce Fleming made a good call. He still hasn't touched him. Say that come-up slide is a little bit deceiving. You cannot tell if he's on the bag or coming up before he hit the bag. What an alert play by Foley, though.
Dick Williams, he was that kind of a player. That's the kind of a play Williams would pull. And I'm sure he appreciates Foley's attempt to get the double play that way. So there are 2 outs. Base runner at second base is Office. 1 strike to count on Montanez. Pittsburgh leading 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th.
One of those plays, Joe, where you make a brilliant play, and I'm not saying it backfired because it was awfully close at second base, but Montreal's got that runner at second base in scoring position. Foley could have just taken the runner at second base first and gotten the force. In fact, with Dawson not running, he flips the ball to Gardner at second. They've got the force out. Dawson's halfway between the home plate and first, but he chose to remove the force. It was close that way, too.
It's one of those plays that he had it figured out, but the results will really be the payoff. How will it work out? Foul out of play. If he gets a base hit now, they're going to start to hang goat horns on Foley, and that wouldn't be fair.
Second, no, it wouldn't.
Because he had it figured out. That was a textbook play, and in the heat of battle, Foley had it figured out perfectly.
Frankie Cressetti taught it to a lot of infielders in the Yankee organization because he did it when he played in the Ruth and Gehrig era.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count. 2 outs. Montanez waiting. Office at second base. That's out of play. Foul ball. Tell you, you have to really be quick on the trigger to think like that, though. You have to have had that play in your mind before it happens, a long time before it happens.
And he had to take his eye off the ball to see what Dawson was doing.
Exactly.
And as soon as he saw that Dawson was not running full out to first base, he said, hey, I'll try it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. High. 2-2. He really cut that fastball loose. I'd love to have the gun on that one. Robinson. Next week it'll be Montreal at St. Louis, and the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. We'll be following this pennant race right down to the end. 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Caught the outside corner. Third out in the fourth inning, fifth strikeout for Robinson. So that ends 4 innings of baseball here, and the score, Pittsburgh 1, Montreal nothing. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
There's an all-new Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, a celebrity-filled hour of laughs and entertainment. Join Johnny when he welcomes Bette Midler and David Brenner Tuesday night.
Thanks, Mr. Sayers.
Hey, wait! I forgot my straws! Hey, wait! My straws!
Where's the fire? Can't talk now. Left the straws and they can't. Wasn't that Gale Sayers?
Couldn't tell, but whoever he was, he's a real beer lover.
Beer lover to another Stroh's.
Long Chevrolet has spectacular selection. 200 Caprices, 200 Impalas, 300 Malibus. Long Chevrolet has all the cars now. Long has no shortages. Classy Camaros, magnificent Monte Carlos. Beat the new price increase and save. Long has over 1,000 full-size cars available. Spectacular savings, spectacular selection. Plus, Long has 800 Citations and Chevettes in stock now. Immediate delivery. Long Chevrolet, Elmhurst.
Shogun, the week begins Monday, September 15th on Channel 5.
Round the floor. Left fielder. The Montreal Expos out of the ballgame, and you can see why. Joe told you he jammed his wrist going into the wall. They think they'll keep that soft cast on for a few days. They'll mobilize it, get it off. Well, he's fourth for a season all-time stolen base. Of course, Brock had 118, Wills had 104, and then Cobb at 96. Beautiful Montreal. An island here in Quebec, Canada. The Olympic Village. Right here, we've got a 1-0 ball game. Rogers against Don Robinson, a pitching duel. The only run, Mike Eastner led off the second inning for the Pirates with a home run. Now it'll be Madlock, Milner, and Ed Ott to face Rogers. We're in the top of the fifth. Madlock grounded out back to Rogers his only time up, and they are really struggling at the bat, Joe. He just tried to chip away at that ball, cut down his swing. Background still not real good. You can see the black under the eyes, the dead in the glare that Madlock has there. One strike. Breaking ball, 0-2. Rogers with a good curveball, good slider, throws two kinds of fastball, a sinker and one that he'll go cross seams, which will ride or take off.
You can see the lights are on both decks.
He misses the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe, talking to Chris Spire and Rodney Scott before the ball game, the two middle infielders, they said that of all the pitchers they've got, that Rogers is the best to play behind because of his great control. And when the catcher gives a sign, and then the target, you know right where it's going to be. Ground ball left field, base hit for Bill Madlock. So just the third base hit in the ball game, 2 by Pittsburgh. So Madlock leads it off, and will bring up John Milner. But as an infielder, if that catcher gives a sign and then gives a target and the pitcher's around it, boy, it makes your job so easy. You can anticipate and get that little bit of an extra jump.
That's the key word right there, anticipate. You can't wait for it to happen. You got to move before it does.
Rogers facing Milner, who grounded back to him the last time up. Madlock's been having some trouble with his legs at times this year. He's been injured off and on. But he's a base-stealing threat. Doesn't have a real big lead. He's going. Ground ball, Scott. It hits Madlock, he's out. And we will see if they call both runners out, because if it was intentionally, in the umpire's judgment, he could call a double play, but he's not. The ball hit Madlock on a hit-and-run play. He doesn't even see the ball. He never did find that ball, Joe. He never picked it up. On a hit-and-run, he never picked it up off the bat. So Bruce Freming alertly calls him out, but they do not call Milner, the runner out at first base. Quite a few years back, a young man named Eddie Stanky. They changed the rule because of him. A sure double play. He used to let the ball hit him intentionally.
Jackie Robinson was the first I ever saw do it. Yeah, Dodgers always used to come up with those plays.
1 out, Milner's on. Ott fouls this one back. So Tanner's got him on the move.
Of course, that Stanky had him going to the rule book all the time. He'd get on third base, he'd go to the outfield side, and when the outfielder catches the ball, he'd have 2 or 3 steps, and he'd argue that there's no way I could leave the bag early.
They changed the rule because Ted Williams, they used to put the shift, and Stanky would stand around behind second base and wave his arms, and Ted Williams said, hey, you're distracting me. So they put a rule in there, too. 1 strike on Ott with Miller on first base. Pirates lead 1-0. 1-1.
There are guys that just sit up at night thinking plays like that.
It's like Weaver. The last few days in Detroit and Toronto, he took advantage of, well, there's no rule in the book. So he messed around with the DH rule. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rogers thinks he's going. He steps off. Changeup, pulled foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In case you haven't read, what Weaver did was, of course, the DH in the American League, not the National League. He was playing in Detroit. He put a pitcher, Steve Stone, in the DH spot. Steve Stone happened to be in another country when the game was played. He was in Toronto because he was the pitcher the next day. And then when it came to DH's turn, Stone, he put in his designated hitter. Then he went to Toronto the next day, and he put Dennis Martinez, another pitcher, into the DH spot. Dennis Martinez was in the States. He was in Colorado. We asked Williams about it before the ball game, Joe and I said, if you get in the World Series, will you use it? Because it's a DH. He said, why not? 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He tried to blow out away with a fastball, but threw it too high. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Pirates lead 1-0 in the 5th. Pirates with 3 base hits. The Expos just 1. Easter's home run in the 2nd, the only run in this game. Fly ball, right center field. Dawson, Office waves him off. He's got it, out number 2. Now it'll be Phil Garner, who flied to right back in the 3rd inning. Looking down at Joe Lynette, the 3rd base coach. Carter also looking down in that direction, trying to pick up a sign. Dick Williams, like Tanner, has always prided himself in having his coaches, and he does the same thing, trying to steal signs, trying to get the edge. Milner's at first with 2 outs. 1 ball.
Dick Williams was a good sign stealer, but the thing he did best, he was the best bench jockey.
Oh.
Charlie Dressen used to keep him on the bench. Just to
Needle
jockey.
somebody?
Oh, could he get after you?
Oh. Well, he started it yesterday. There's Williams. Roden pitched, and he brought those 2 baseballs out and said, look out. Almost got Garner. 2 balls and no strikes. But he brought 2 balls out to the plate umpire. And he said, hey, he's cutting the baseballs. Look at, here they are. But Tanner, Williams did remember that Tanner did it to him last year and started a little home run off Dale Murray. And then it was Tanner's turn to come out and say that the kid, Sanderson, was scuffing up the balls. 2-0. Count goes 3-0.
The ball that Tanner used that said that Sanderson was scuffing up was a foul ball that Roden had hit on a left field line. It came back to the bench, and he gave it to the trainer, Tony Butterholm, and he says, use a knife and cut it up a little bit.
Uh-oh.
You talk about one gamesmanship and one upsmanship.
Well, the kid Scott Sanderson said in the pregame show interview that the balls he got when he came out, they were definitely cut up, and he said it had to be Roden. Whether he was or not, I don't know, or who was cutting it up or doctoring the baseball, but a lot of it is done in baseball these days. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Lynette with a series of signs to Garner, and the runner at first, Milner. 1-0, the Pirates lead in the 5th. He's not going. 3-2, now he'll be going with 2 outs.
I think over in Oakland, a guy asked me the other day what I think about that pitching staff. I said that Fowler must have him warming up in a car wash. That ball's coming out wet all the time. They're really doing a job.
Art wouldn't do that. Art told us last time out there, he teaches him the dry spitter. You don't touch a seam. The runner's off. Garner goes off after a bad pitch, but pulls it foul. So it'll stay at 3-2 with 2 outs, and Milner will return to first.
Dry spitter, huh?
Uh-huh. Pirates, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. The Expos, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Madlock led this inning off with a single, but then when Milner in a hit and run grounded towards Scott, the ball hit Madlock and he was out. went after a bad pitch, but I don't think he saw it. Fly ball center field. Andre Dawson. He's got it, so the Strand Milner, the first base runner, will make it the second strand in this game. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth here in Montreal with a score. The Pirates 1, the Expos nothing.
DuPont presents America's #1 premium car wax, Rain Dance, the one with the watertight guarantee. Guaranteed to shine longer, to bead water longer, to last longer than any other leading car wax, or DuPont gives you your money back. Rain Dance, the #1 premium car wax, guaranteed to shine longer, to bead water longer, to last longer. The Rain Dance guarantee is watertight.
How elegant.
What wine is that? It's going to be an evening to remember.
This is a lovely wine.
A Chablis.
I don't know how she does it.
She's a great hostess.
Look how everything glitters.
My favorite, Chablis Blanc.
When you invite your favorite people, invite their favorite wine. Cool, crisp Gallo Chablis Blanc.
Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek here in Montreal with the score. The Pirates 1, the Expos nothing as we go to the bottom of the fifth. But we understand that in Fenway Park, Boston, there is some action. So let's go right now. Boston Yankee game, Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano in Fenway Park.
I mean, there is some action. We got action here. Sound like Gifford.
Pittsburgh game, the Yankees and Red Sox are scoreless in the top of the fourth. Lou Piniella started the inning with a single. Cerrone was doubled. Runners are at second and third against Mike Therese. There is no score. The Yankees have 4 hits. Boston has 2. Bucky Dent, who singled in the second inning, is the batter. Nobody out. And Therese is down low. Ball 3, strike 1. Therese got himself in trouble back in the first inning when he walked the bases loaded, but he got out of it. Then the Red Sox got the first 2 men on in the bottom of the first. And Tommy John, pitching for New York and going for his 21st win, got out of it. Right now, Bucky Dent trying to put a dent in Mike Therese and the Red Sox. 3 balls a strike. Foul at a play, and it's a full count of 3-2. The Yankees have a 4-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles, who are now underway in Toronto, and Toronto is leading 1-0 in the second inning of that game.
And remember, we got Lou Piniella at third, who's not the fastest man in the world, so it's going to really have to be deep to right or left or center in order for Lou to get in on Bucky Dent's hit here. If Bucky can get the ball in the air, it's going to have to be deep.
Payoff pitch. Foul in the play. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Another full house at Fenway Park in Boston. The Yankees have won the first 2 games of this series. There was one other scoring opportunity in this ball game, and Glenn Hoffman, the third baseman of the Boston Red Sox, fired to the plate to get Rick Cerrone in the second inning. It was that close. That's why we're still scoreless. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Dent. Foul ball. Mike Therese has beaten the Yankees once. He is 1-9 against New York. And remember, this is the same Mike Therese who won 2 games for the New York Yankees when he was with the Bombers in the 1977 World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But it's not the Mike Therese of that year. It's the Mike Therese of this year. He is 9-13. Bucky Dent, 3-2. Base hit to right center. 1 run is in. Piniella is home. Cerrone is headed home. Dwyer will throw to second, and the Yankees have a 2-run lead. So Bucky Dent driving in runs 44 and 5 for the year, and the Yankees have a 2-run lead in the 4th inning. And the second baseman, Dave Stapleton, just missed this one. He had caught one like this earlier.
Slider down low. Bucky makes nice contact with it right up the middle. Stapleton just out of his reach and scores 2 runs.
So it's 2-0 New York. And now for those of you watching the Pirate Montreal game, back to Joe and Tony.
Back here in Montreal Olympic Stadium. While you were gone, Gary Carter battled Don Robinson, the Pirate pitcher, to a 3-2 count. Then hit a fly ball to Omar Moreno in short left center field. So there's 1 out with the Pirates leading 1-0. A Mike Easter home run. Don Robinson against Steve Rogers. Now it's Warren Cromartie, who was the second strikeout victim of Robinson. He has 5 so far today. Ed Ott flashing the sign. The home plate umpire, John Kibler. Good sinker. No balls and 2 strikes to Warren Cromartie. He's been playing first base most of the year. In fact, last night's ball game is the first time he moved away from first base and into left field. Little looper, left field. Eastler, oh, he almost misplayed it as the ball started slicing away from him. He was playing Cromartie near the line and then started circling, but there are 2 outs.
The ball really started to cut away from you. See, he made the wrong turn. Now he's got to go back and just barely makes the play in the webbing of the glove.
Now it's Larry Parrish. Struck out in the 3rd. Well, in Olympic Stadium, there is so much television coverage. This is our booth. The CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, is televising in both English and in French throughout Canada. The Pirates have a crew here televising back to Pittsburgh. We're here, of course, going to the States and a lot of border cities. 2 balls, no strikes to Larry Parrish. He struck out in the 3rd. Parrish only 2 for his last 21 times at bat, so he's in a mild slump. Good breaking ball by Robinson. 2 balls, 1 strike. So 2-0, and he threw a curve. That doesn't confuse a hitter. I don't know what will. Parrish last year, the kid who had the outstanding year, really unnoticed, hit 30 home runs. Might have been the club's MVP. Came up as a brilliant prospect from out of Florida. Foul ball. Foley to Milner. They retire Parrish. So Robinson, another 3-up, 3-down inning, and 5 are gone here in Montreal, Canada. With a score, the Pittsburgh Pirates 1, the Montreal Expos nothing.
Michelin could make a bias ply tire or a bias belted tire or a second line radial. Michelin could, but Michelin won't, because we put you first. For years, we've made only 1 tire, the Michelin X Radial, and we've made it the best we know how. We think too many things in this world give up or give out too soon. So we don't make a second best tire. At Michelin, we refuse to compromise. One more way. We put you first.
Catch that Pepsi spirit. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
Join host Brian Gumbel for a revealing look at Raider quarterback Dan Pastorini, plus Pete Axthelm's essay on gambling, NFL 80. It's as hard-hitting as the sport it covers.
We're at Olympic Stadium here in Montreal, Canada. Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek. That's Joe. The Expos have a 2-game lead over the Phillies, 4.5 over the Pirates. Do you think this Pirate team can come back?
I think when you play as hard as they've played and stayed in as close, anybody can come back. I always go back to 1949. I was with the Cardinals. We had 5 games to play, a 2.5-game lead. We were playing the Cubs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday, single game Sunday. And by Sunday, we were out of it. The Dodgers won it. You got to wait till it's all over.
It isn't over till it's over. Dale Barrow quoted his father today. Thanks, Joe. Foul ball out of play. So we're in the 6th inning here. Just over the top of the tarp. Pretty good try by Willie Montañez and Roland Office. And that speed we've been talking about not only shows up on the base pass for this Expo team, but the way they cut down the alleys and do things like that, Joe, made that a pretty close play.
Almost made the play. Speed. There's a lot of room here in this ballpark in foul territory.
1 strike to count on Don Robinson, the Pirate pitcher, was riding a shutout. Eastler's home run, the only run in this ball game. So now it's 0-2. Robinson will be followed by Moreno and then Foley. Little action now. Jesse Jefferson, a couple of days. Harding Peterson, the Pirates GM, acquired him from the Toronto Blue Jays. They're talking about Jesse as kind of a stopgap. Hope he can. He's been the kind of kid who's been brilliant at times, and then sometimes he'll make you cry. He has a tremendous throwing arm. Tanner had him with the White Sox. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Don Robinson. Steve Rogers. Just 1 pitch. Easter, that's the only run, a home run.
Tony, if there's one thing that Tanner has proved, I think, is that he can handle people. I remember when everybody was talking about Dick Allen was such a tough guy to handle. Yet, as far as Tanner was concerned, easiest guy in the world to have on a ball club.
2-2. Ground ball. 2 hops. Chris Spire. Willie Montañez, retired Don Robinson. Well, tomorrow, I want to remind you that on NFL 80, Week 2, host Bryant Gumbel, Broadway Bryant, as he takes a look at Dan Pastorini's move to Oakland. Are his bags still packed? Then a special feature on armchair quarterbacks, where some of America's most knowledgeable fans play quarterback from their own living room. Plus, college scores, highlights, and an inside look at the day's games, all tomorrow on NFL 80 here on NBC Sports. Check your listing for the games and time in your area.
Omar Moreno really doing the work of the leadoff man. Robinson a long run, a long walk back, so Moreno just kind of stalled around, went to the bat rack and what have you to give his pitcher a chance to rest.
Joe, I don't know if our producer, George Fake, and our director, Kenny Fouts, could get a picture of his hands. The little finger on his left hand, he fakes a bunt. It's 1 strike. That thing is so crooked, he cannot straighten it out. He did it diving into a base. You can see his hands, but the left hand, the little finger, he's going to have surgery on it. It has prevented him from sliding head first now. He's going feet first. And he said it's made him slower, and he said, I would have had 100 stolen bases by now, had it not been for having to convert and go feet first, which he thinks is slower.
I see.
He thinks it's slower. He said, if I jam it 1 more time, I'd be out. You see that knuckle on that left little finger. Chopped it. He tried to slash it by, Parrish.
If our guys can get a close shot at little finger, I can get them a guest shot on games people play.
All right. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Moreno is flied out. He's grounded out. 1 out, 1-0. The Pirates lead. Last night, a 1-0 ball game. Rick Rhoden pitched well for the Pirates.
There it is. See it.
But Sanderson shut him out. 2 high, 2-2. Gary Carter, who has been given so much credit by a basically young Montreal pitching staff. Look at that low target he gives. He gets Moreno. Good curveball. A 2-2 pitch. Second strikeout in the ball game for Rogers. Boy, that baby dropped off the table, Joe.
Yes, sir.
That thing started up almost shoulder high, and he caught it down low and in. Correct myself, that's the first strikeout by Rogers. Outside, breaking pitch to Foley. 1 ball.
Foley and Madlock did not take batting practice. They were both in the clubhouse before the game. They were going over strategy.
Chopped off his foot. Count will go 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs. Dave Parker, who, as we told you many times, is having that knee problem. He had trouble as a football player in high school with his knee. Might have kept some college football scouts off his back. And in fact, a couple of major league teams were a little bit frightened that his knee would not be right. But you know what he's done. Two balls, 1 strike to Foley. Foley, 5 hits his last 14 at bats. Prior to that, he was 0 for 19. Looper center field. Dawson, good jump. He's got it. So Foley's retired, although he hit the ball well. So Steve Rogers, a 3-up, 3-down inning in the top of the 6th. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th here as we see Foley line this breaking ball out. The score here at Olympic Stadium, Montreal, 1-0. The Pirates lead over the Expos.
Right now, RCA will put control of a new 1981 color track in the palm of your hand. During RCA's Best for Less Remote Days, you can get Color Track Remote Control. RCA's Best Remote Control at $120 off your dealer's regular price, just by trading in your old color set and buying a 1981 Color Track console. Hurry to your participating RCA dealer and take control of a new Color Track.
This ranch doesn't run without horses, and the horses don't run without you. But when you've hammered out a day's work, you meet up with Miller Time.
When it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
One beer stand squeeze.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Using this surgical fiber optic camera lens, Prestone Labs is going to show you what weak, neglected antifreeze can do to your radiator after only 9,000 miles. Look at these passages. Rust, corrosion. Continued neglect could clog them and overheat this radiator. Before this happens to you, put in Prestone 2. Prestone has a patented silicone silicate formula that forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Prestone 2 and Prestone Super Flush. No wonder we're #1.
Join host Brian Gumbel for a revealing look at Raider quarterback Dan Pastorini, plus Pete Axtone's essay on gambling, NFL 80. It's as hard-hitting as the sport it covers. NFL 80. It's as hard-hitting as the sport it covers.
The bottom of the sixth, Chris Spire, the number 8 hitter, will lead it off for Montreal. He'll be followed by Rogers and then Rodney Scott. Don Robinson of the Pirates has struck out 5. Neither pitcher has walked anyone. There goes Oopie. Who? Oopie. I asked one of the French Canadians how you translate that. He said, let me ask somebody else. Finally, somebody said, I think it just means wow. Oopie. He's the team mascot. 1-0. The Pirates lead. A Mike Easter home run. Spire lined out to short in the third. The pause here is because the third base umpire, Dick Stello, sees a banner waving over in front of the bullpen out in the playing surface. Now they're ready to go. A pitcher's duel. Foul ball, could be trouble. Gardner can't get it. The Spire's on to lead off the inning and bring up the pitcher.
Here it is from center field. It looked like a good pitch. It was low, right back up the middle, bounces over Robinson's head. No way they could make a play on this artificial surface.
So now it's Steve Rogers, who's an excellent athlete and pretty good bunter. Spire being held by Milner. First base umpire Terry Tata. The Expos have been a pretty good come-from-behind team this year. They've come from behind 35 times this season to win. Madlock breathing down Rogers' throat. Did he check his swing? Ball 1.
No way he can bunt it to third base and get his man over. With Spire now trying to find out if he's got good footing or not at first base. He kind of spun his wheels a little bit.
Rogers struck out in the third. Now with 1 ball, no strike. Madlock in once again. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rogers looking down at Ozzie Virgil. Third base coach.
Tony, did you ever have a play, as we look at Virgil, where the manager came in and said, just let him bunt when you were sure like this? Just take something off the fastball?
No, bad play. I do. I think you got to bust a fastball in on a guy. Here comes a pitch. Too high, 2-1. Because that might be the time when you think he's a bad hitting pitcher, said just let him bunt and lay it in there. When they put the switch on and he wails away and takes your third baseman's head off.
It's a gamble, but if you can make sure he bunts the ball, and in this spot you almost have to trail him by a run, lay that fastball in where he bunts it to Madlock, you got a double play.
But then you're letting him, maybe, if you don't get the runner at second base.
You got to get that guy or the play is dead.
Well, if the runner at first base, if you say let him bunt and the runner at first base, a smart runner who gets a good jump, you can't get him. You've allowed the hitter, the bunter, to do his thing. There's Virgil, again giving signs in a 2-ball, 2-strike count as Spire goes back. I think Virgil's son had a pretty big year in the minor leagues this year. He's a catcher. Had over 100 runs batted in. About 140 games. The Phillies called him up, I believe it was. 2-2, Spires at first. Madlock creeping in, but not as close this time from third base. He's bunting again. Cal will go 3-2. Now what do you do? Oh, two possibilities. You can bunt him again. You can bunt and run. You can have him swing away, try and chop the ball through a vacated spot. So the Pittsburgh defense has some pressure on it. 3-2 pitch from Robinson. He's going. Fouls it off. He's out. Spire will go back. So there's one out. Dick Williams having Rogers bunt. And he is mad at himself for not getting that runner over. But Williams at least stayed out of a double play. It's another guy like Mock, Tanner, some of the others. Doesn't miss a trick.
Williams came up in the Dodger organization, and when you talked to him, as Tony and I were doing before the game, when he was talking about his club, he said, well, one of the reasons we've been winning because we've been playing basic, fundamental Branch Rickey baseball. And that about says it all right there.
Now it's Rodney Scott, who's lined out and grounded out with Spire at first. Madlock in at third. He's faked the bunt about 4 times so far today, but he keeps getting Madlock creeping in closer and closer. 1 strike and 1 out. The Expos trail by 1. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Just 5 hits in this ball game. Pirates have 3. Eastler's got the big hit, a home run. Expos bullpen now gets ready. Spire, not a very big lead, but that doesn't mean he's not going. Rodney Scott, a tough man to double up. That bullpen way in the back is Freddie Norman. One ball, 1 strike.
Robinson has been called for 2 balks this year. And Tony, with a 1-1 count, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dick Williams try to force something and start his runner.
Well, he's got a pretty wide gap up the middle of the diamond. With Scott's speed from the left side, Foley is shaded toward third. Gardner's closer, so chances are he'd be covering if there is a steal. 1-1. Right there, a little throw by Robinson. Many times Tanner will ask his catcher or relay director, yell out to find out if something is going on. Maybe pick up a tendency by throwing over. He's not going. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Scott. Scott, a switch hitter. The left side hitting just .213. Right side he's hitting .314. Left side he's gotten, well, about 400 or more plate appearances. But he has served the purpose that Williams wanted him to serve. Shore up the right side of the defense and give him that speed on the base pass and defensively. Chopper, Foley, to Garner. Will they get Scott? No way. So they retire Spire. 6-4. There are 2 outs, but Scott at first base got a chance to beat you with those legs, or at least get the second. Can't do it any more quickly than they just did. It just
no,
great
here
speed.
it is again. Foley gives it to him in good shape, too. He sees the ball all the way. On its way, but it's not even close. And Scott can really fly, and he's measuring at first base right now.
He is doing some groundskeeping, taking off all the rough spots. He has 58 steals and 68 attempts. Percentage-wise, that's 85% of the times he is successful. Rolling off, it's a left-handed hitter, will give him protection. Good lead, Joe.
Got to watch him when the catcher throws back to the pitcher, too. He has stolen 8 bases as the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher. Ott is aware of it. Tony and I rode out in the ballpark with him and Joe Lynette today, and that's one of the things he was talking about. In fact, he said if Scott gets on his second base, on the second pitch, we're going to try to put a play on and get him.
Scott taking a lot of time. He's got 1 foot on the turf at first base. Office has singled to right and grounded out. There are 2 outs. He's got him red because he came in standing up. Felipe Alou, the coach at first base for Montreal. The Pirates lead 1-0. A step and a dive. The old Maury Wills theory to come back to first base. That's what Scott's doing. Now he's going to have a little conversation. He's dusting off Joe, but I wonder if Felipe Alou is also maybe giving him a little information as to Robinson's move.
That's Ron LaFleur, who leads us. Well, he's leading everybody in stolen bases. Looking on, he's got the bad hand, jammed it, run into a wall. These base runners have it figured out. A slide and a dive, 12 strides in the slide by Lou Brock. Body's length and an arm away. They have ways of measuring it.
No count on Office with 2 outs. Scott in the split screen, the right side. He's coming back, standing up once again. His Expo team leads the major leagues with 215 stolen bases. Robinson taking a lot of time. He's trying to hold the ball now, Joe, trying to freeze. Get Rodney Scott a little bit tense at first base.
It's 4 full innings, 4-0. Yankees leading the Red Sox, and the Mets over Chicago, 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th. Everybody else tonight, and it's 1-0. Toronto leading Baltimore at the end of 3. Cleveland 4, Detroit 0, bottom of the 4th.
Scott's leading. He's not going. 1 ball, no strikes to Roland Office. Does a lot of things. Got great speed as we look down at Rodney Scott, held by Miller.
Joe Launette, and I think that's Skinner.
1 foot on the turf, like all the great base stealers do. He's leaning once again. He's not going. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you get your hitter many times more fastballs to hit at. When you're a base stealer on first base, you divide the pitcher's attention. So whether you go or not, you've applied a lot of pressure to the defensive team, especially the pitcher and catcher.
Scott really a big lead.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs.
He's as much as saying to Robinson, I get as big a lead as I want. I'm going to go. You know I'm going to go, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it.
Interesting to see if Tanner decides to pitch out. He calls most of the pitch outs. Scott's holding. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well,
the base stealers pitch.
Right here.
Every week, don't we?
Manager's delight. Manager's delight right here.
Aside from that, Robinson, who's had pretty good control so far in this ball game, he's not walked anyone. Has now gone 2-1 on the hitter. So if he does go and Office does swing, Scott with his great speed could score on a long single. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. He's off. Foul back by Roland Office, so he'll come back. The count's 2-2.
Some year I'm going to keep a statistic on that. 2 balls and 1 strike, how many times they run. They've got the catcher in the box. I mean, you're handcuffed. It's very rare that you have the real luxury of calling the pitch out. And Scott breaking 2-1 pitch. And I'll tell you, you talk about what speed does to a ball club. That Pirate bench, Joe Launette, Bob Skinner, Al Monchok, Chuck Tanner, all standing, watching, see if they could pick up something.
Joe, is Launette standing as close as he can get to that catcher and still stay within the bounds of the dugout, is standing close so that Ott can hear him. With a left-handed hitter, Ott is concentrating on the pitch, and he's blocked out. So he's cupped his mouth. Launette has. He's going to say, there he goes if he goes. He's off. Changeup, popped up to the left side. Madlock drifting into foul territory. He's got it, so Scott did not get a chance to steal. So, after 6 here at Olympic Stadium, Montreal, the score, the Pirates won, the Expos nothing. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Saturday, is Buck found his love from the 20th century? Is she an illusion or a deadly trap? Then
say hello to Sister Sled, BJ.
And hello, trouble for BJ and a lady cop Saturday.
Our new car.
Only after we protect you with Polyglide Coat.
I'm getting Polyglide Coat all over me. Rust-proofing, textile and vinyl protection, Polyglide Coat sound shield, and paint sealant.
With the purchase of this package, we get a consumer protection plan from Polyglide Coat.
It includes a 1-year free membership in the USAC MD Motor Club.
And look, a finance guarantee during the first year will pay up to 80% of 11 car payments if I lose my job.
Polyglycode Consumer Protection Plan, available at new car dealers everywhere. Call this toll-free number for the dealers nearest you.
It takes a special talent to put something all together and get it just right. And that's what Old Milwaukee did. We got the taste of light beer right.
We got it right.
We gave Old Milwaukee Light the real beer taste you've been missing in other lights and kept it less filling.
We got it right.
So now you can have your light beer and taste it too.
We got it right. We got it right. Old Milwaukee. Got light right.
Shogun, the week begins Monday, September 15th on Channel 5.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in Montreal, and we've got one of those good old-fashioned pitchers battles going on here. The Pittsburgh Pirates, 1 run, a home run by Easler. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. Montreal, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Tell you, these Expos, their pitching has really been something. Last night they got a 1-0 shutout, but today they're trailing by a run.
First home run hit off them in all of September. This is the 12th game. Was hit by Easler, and that's the only run in this ball game.
Dave Parker leads it off. Parker is 0 for 2. He lined hard to center field and bounced out Montanez to Rogers in the 4th. Outside, ball 1. Dave Parker has the highest career batting average among the active National Leaguers at .316. Talking about a minimum of 3,000 times at bat.
Number 2 in the National League lifetime is on this same team, Bill Madlock. It's been a pretty good kept secret.
1 ball, 1 strike. I tell you, a lot of well-kept secrets when you look at the leaders this year, Tony. Home run, Schmidt, well, that's a familiar name. Harner with 31, Murphy 29, Baker 28, Carter 24, and Henrik 24. Parker takes it high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pittsburgh bullpen gets busy. It'll be Parker, Easler, and Madlock. 3rd, 4th, and 5th place hitters here in the 7th inning. Low, 3-1. Dave Parker.
I think it'd be getting a little bit easier to see now because that sun has gone completely away from dead center field. It's moved over more pretty much that right field corner. The hitters are hitting in a shady background.
Straight away center field. Dawson's going back near the warning track. Has room and makes it.
404 feet right in that area. He drove Dawson all the way back. It's one of those where you hear a million times, just missed, and he did. Just got under it.
Usually when the little guy hits one like that, they say he has warning track power. Here you see Dawson. He finds exactly where he is. As he looked at the wall, the warning track, drifts back, knows how much room he has, and really makes a routine play out of it. So here is Mike Easler. He hit a home run in the 2nd inning. That's been the only score in the ball game so far. It's high, ball 1. Easler against the Expos, 14 for 38 with 4 home runs, 9 runs batted in. That's a .368 average.
Score we've got Baltimore leading over Toronto 3-1. A little rain delay there.
Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Easler. A picture of patience as far as coming to the major leagues. Broke in '69. 3-0. Covington, Cocoa, Columbus, Denver, Houston, Des Moines, Tulsa, California, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. Always some pretty good years. There's a strike. 29 years old, born in Cleveland, Ohio, now lives in San Antonio. Acquired from the California Angels. Didn't get it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Reacquired from the Boston Red Sox in 1979 from minor leaguers George Hill and Martin Rivas, plus some cash. 78 led the American Association with a .330 average. Good swing.
He's been a consistent hitter. Easler has, both at home and on the road. He's at .310 on the road. This season he's hitting .319. There's Rogers, that wood-to-seam sinker ball.
That was one of those little nicks that a catcher gets. That's about a 7-calorie bite. It doesn't really bleed, but it hurts.
Watch how low Carter gets. After he gives his target, he'll give the number of the pitch. One's a fastball, 2 curve, maybe 3 a slider. Wiggle might be changed. And then he gives the location with his finger.
He lost him. Got away from him. The other thing about staying low like that, Tony, not only does it help the pitcher, but you get away from a lot of foul tips. They go over your head and get the umpire. So Eastler is on. 1 man out. Madlock is the batter. And Thursday night, games people play. Mr. T will be back with the Mid-America Regionals, the toughest bouncers competition. And then Bruce Jenner will take a special look at a determined high school coach and his battle on and off the field. Bill Shirk, our stuntman, will be back. Madlock waits and he takes his strike. Shirk will try to, well, he'll try his great escape over a pool of hungry, man-eating sharks. All this and more this Thursday. Games people play. 1 strike to count. As the first base on ball is given up by Rogers, Mike Eastler. $51,305. 56,992 last night, and they expect 60 here tomorrow. It'll be a good series.
Gone.
There he goes. Here's the throw. It is not in time. Low throw. Eastler, a stolen base.
Eastler doesn't steal a whole lot. His 5th stolen base has been caught 8 times. A good throw. Oh, isn't that bad a throw to handle, a short hop.
He lost it when he looked away from it, Tony, on a short hop, which an infielder will do, and I don't blame him. I think a good throw, he might have gotten him. 2 strikes to count on Madlock. Madlock has 1 of the base hits here. Pirates only have 3. 1 man out. Carter dances out nicely, comes up with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Catcher makes a low throw, and the infielder's got to get on a short hop. His primary responsibility is to be sure to get that ball, keep it in front of him. You can't worry about that fellow stealing then.
Pirates have had trouble scoring runners scoring position. They had Eastler down at 3rd base last night after he made a daring base running move. Goes from 2nd to 3rd on a ground ball to the left side, but he was stranded there. Nice play.
Nice play. Another one by Carter, shifting out there to get it. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and that's as far as he wants to go. First base is open, obviously, with 1 out, but you got 2 left-hand batters coming up, Milner and Ott. Bill Madlock, since August 1st, hitting .348, 4 home runs and 17 RBIs in that stretch. So he's been able to knock some runs in.
Well, he's had a lot of turmoil this year. He had that suspension after his running with an umpire. And he hurt his hand. He played through that, and his average kept on sinking. He's been hitting 4th many times with Stargell that out, and he's not a 4th place hitter.
Right center field. Dawson's going to have to hustle. He's there, makes the grab. Eastler goes back to 2nd.
There's one of those right there, Joe. With the ball sitting in that area, you might as well tag up. If the ball falls, you're going to score. If he catches it, you can go to 3rd base, and there is an awful lot more pressure on a pitcher, catcher, and a defensive infield if you're on 3rd base. So he should have been tagging up, been on 3rd right now, where he can score on a wild pitch, pass ball, balk, infield hit, and you can go on and on and on. This way, there's not as much pressure.
Yankees 4, Red Sox 2 at the end of 5, and Murray a home run in the 5th with 1 on, and Baltimore leads Toronto in the 5th. 5-1. Right here, 2 men out. Milner in the batter. Ball 1. Rogers was really disgusted with that lollipop he threw. Milner got a base hit his last time up when his ground ball hit the base runner Madlock. He bounced out the first baseman unassisted in the 2nd inning. Will hit right field. In fast office. They may have a play at the plate. Here's the throw. It is safe. He had him.
What a job Gary Carter almost did blocking Eastler off the plate. Something that Ott tried to do to him yesterday. yesterday. Put a good throw by Roland Office. There's the Pirate bench. They pad that lead just a shade. Here comes the throw from Roland Office. He took a little time, Joe, and a couple of extra hops getting rid of that ball. Overthrows the cutoff man. Gary Carter's left foot down, but he gets upended by a hard slide by Eastler. Kibler waited nice and long to make sure that he had touched the plate, and then he gives the safe sign. Here's the angle from up front.
What he did was sit on him, and he had to get that left leg in there, and Carter, before he could make the tag, Eastler did slip in there. You remember in the All-Star game, Carter did a great job putting the tag on Downing, I believe it was, at the plate.
Throw from Parker.
Throw from Parker in right field. Both Ott and Carter can block that plate, but Eastler was able to get that left leg in through the servant's entrance, and they pick up a big run.
That's what you like to see an umpire do, though. Wait till the dust clears a little bit. Make sure that the guy's got part of home plate and that the catcher's hung onto the ball, and then you make your call.
Kibler waited.
You betcha.
And he's about to call him out. You can see that right hand start up, but then he saw that he had not made the tag, and the leg got in there, and safe it was. Big run. It's now 2-0 Pittsburgh. Milner comes through with a big base hit, that RBI with 2 outs. Ott takes it high. It's ball 1. And the Expo bullpen gets busy. The left-hander is Woody Fryman. The right-hander is Sosa. And if that Fryman comes in, you're going to hear an ovation. He's become the new medicine man around here.
He signed him a new contract for next year at his age.
Cured all the evil and ills. Ground ball. Scott has it to first. That ends the inning, but Pittsburgh picks up a big run in the 7th. We go in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The score here is Pittsburgh 2, Montreal nothing. Right now, here's another installment of the 7th inning stretch. You're going to love this one.
Old Spice presents the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Old Spice Aftershave and Cologne, a fresh, clean, masculine scent women love.
Roy Campanella first turned pro at age 15, and he was always overjoyed that someone would pay him to play baseball. Roy was forever burly and squat, a catcher by default. The strength of his throwing arm was no surprise, and at the bat, his open stance was also suggestive of unlimited power. Roy menaced National League pitchers for 11 years, smacking 41 homers in 1953, the most ever by a catcher. Roy was MVP 3 times and bellwether of 5 Dodger pennants. Even when, in 1958, a tragic car accident confined him to a wheelchair, Roy never lost his spirit, and Roy Campanella remains today just as before, a beacon of joy and good cheer.
When a man wears Old Spice, chances are he'll always get a warm reception. No wonder. The clean, fresh, masculine fragrance of Old Spice is a scent that women know and love. So when you're wearing Old Spice, the invitation is clear. It can really spice up your life.
Put a little spice in your life with Old Spice.
Roy Campanella, we hope you enjoyed that. I'll tell you, got to be a man to play this game, but better have a lot of little boy in you. That's what Campy said. He's so right. Here's that home run by Mike Eastler. Hit that in the 2nd inning. That was holding up. That was his 19th home run, and he got it all. 1-0 until the 7th inning when Pittsburgh picked up another run.
Eastler hit that home run at a tough time of the day when there were not too many hitters seeing the ball at all.
As the inning ended, Montreal pitcher Rogers had a conversation with John Kibler, and Ed Ott is talking to him now, and you can bet me it's about that play at the plate.
John Kibler appeared like he was going to start that right hand going for the out signal, but then he pointed to the foot and said, yep, the foot's in there. So Eastler got that foot upended Carter, caught a part of the plate.
So it's the bottom of the 7th now. Pittsburgh out in front, 2-0. Dawson. High, ball 1. Dawson flied to center field in the 1st inning. Bounced out short in the 1st and the 4th. Montreal with 2 base hits. Single by Office in the 4th, a single by Spire in the 6th. Foul ball. Robinson has struck out 6. Robinson retired the first 10 men that he faced, and the base hit by Office broke the string. He retired 5 men in a row. The base hit by Spire broke the string. He has been tough. Not walked anyone. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Last year, when he was in that hot stretch near the end of the season with that tender arm, Don Robinson, 5th, 6th, 7th inning, they had to watch him closely. That's when his arm started really giving him some pain, and he would be taken out of games late in the ball game. But he says his shoulder is recovered fully now. It's strengthened. He's still throwing hard.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Andre Dawson. Dawson had a 19-game hitting streak earlier this season. Came into this game hitting .299. 14 home runs. Curveball got him. He went around. That's 7 strikeouts.
Tough breaking pitch. That was the curve.
Just had him fooled completely.
Did you see Don Robinson's shoulder and arm before the ball game, before he had his shirt? He's got scars on the shoulder, the elbow, the bone chips removed. They have what? They have glasses coming out to Dave Parker. They want to give Vance Law, Vern's son, now a coach in Japan, a little exposure. I don't think the son's even out yet. They want Vance, Father Vern, to know he's here. Been called up, going to play winter ball this year in the Dominican Republic.
Man,
is there any sun out? I don't know sun out, is there?
A little pun there, a little fun. Everybody congratulating Vance for running out there. They've got good spirit on this ball club, both ball clubs.
They got a couple of good young infielders, and Law is one, and Dale Bear is another. They can fit in this lineup.
Montanez, a base hit to left field, and he points to left field. I got the base hit. He is something. Well, he's on. Tying run at the plate. 2-0 is the score. After 5 innings, they got a delay in Toronto. Baltimore's out front 5-1. Murray, a home run in the 5th with 1 on. McGregor against Steve, but they're delayed by rain. Gary Carter, the batter. He fouled out his first time up, and he flied to center field.
Leads the club in RBIs, leads the club in home runs. He's the man you'd want up right now in this ball game. Man on base, you're down by 2.
Curveball misses, ball 1. Carter on a 9-game hitting streak.
Brad Jackson, that's Kurt Bafakwa, number 11. He's going to protect the pitchers. He does that very well, and he does lineups very well. The Culvey is also starting to go down.
Foul back. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out. Dick Williams looking on. He wants a couple runs.
What was it he said to you before the ball game as we were coming upstairs? He said he remembered you for one thing. You led the league for skidding on the cinder track in Forbes Field. What do you mean by that?
It was a low dugout, and those guys would be watching a foul ball, and I'd slide and kick cinders in their face. Line drive! Nice play by Foley, but Montanez gets back. That ball was hit hard, but right at him.
That's the key right there, right at him, Joe. There are more balls hit right at Foley. It's not the fact that he got up on this ball, made a good catch on a line drive, but balls are always hit right at him because he positions so well. Nice catch. Immediately looks down and looks to see if he can double the runner off at first base, Montanez. But you see that with him more than anybody. When Gary Templeton and some of the other speedy shortstop get his savvy, his maturity and everything else, you imagine what Templeton will become, his speed. Just that experience.
Cromartie is the batter. He struck out in the 2nd. He lined to left in the 5th. Strike is called a fastball. Cromartie's been on a little bit of a tear here. He's hit 9 of his last 10 games at a .419 clip. Pittsburgh 2, Montreal nothing. Bottom of the 7th. Strike. Warren didn't think so. So he's going to go out and regroup. He's got career highs in home runs, 14, and RBI, 66, Cromartie. Base hit, right field.
Hey, trying to trick play again. Foley going to his normal cutoff spot between third and second, but couldn't fool the veteran. Montanez. Parker tried to throw behind him with Foley.
Philippe Alou talking to Cromartie. He's on at first. Montanez is on at second. There are 2 outs.
National League East standings as we have a conference out at the now with Paris coming up. Montreal, a 2-game lead over Philadelphia. A 4.5-game lead over Pittsburgh. St. Louis has moved up to 4th. New York and then Chicago Cubs.
Parrish got the big base hit last night to drive in Gary Carter as the Expos won it 1-0. He's up there now with 2 men out. Tying runs are on. Parrish struck out in the 3rd. He bounced out to the shortstop in the 5th. Strike 1, didn't get it. Montanez at second base. Cromartie's on at first. 2 outs, 2-0. Pittsburgh out in front. Bottom of the 7th. Fastball is a good one. 2 quick strikes. Robinson has struck out 7. He has not walked anyone. Both bullpens are busy. Foul back. To Colby and Jackson for Pittsburgh. Sosa and Steve Retzer. Two strikes to count, 2 outs. Tying runs are on. Montanez is at second. Cromartie's on at first. Fastball inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's still throwing hard, Tony.
He sure is. And you know, with Parrish obviously trying to protect the plate behind the hitter, maybe want to try and go to right field more. Gardner playing up the middle, holding the runner. So there's a pretty good hole between Gardner and Milner. Second baseman, first baseman.
One-two pitch. Foul back. Good pitch, good swing.
Now that outfield, especially in left and right, even Moreno and center have moved back a little bit, because now is not the time you want an extra base hit. You might give ground a little bit and play deeper in this kind of close ball game, because they're trying to keep the guy from first base from scoring and the hitter from getting an extra base hit. So they want to cut those alleys down, and if there is a hit, hold them to a single.
Quick throw to second base. Montanez is back.
That's
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Excuse me, Joe. That's Al Monchak, one of Tanner's coach's responsibility, and Bob Skinner, the hitting instructor, to keep that outfield right. Here comes a snap throw from Ott.
It's kind of an ad-lib play, and it serves a purpose. That'll cut Montanez's lead off second base by maybe a step, give the outfielders a better chance to get him at the plate. 2-2 pitch. Fouled out of play. Pirates also have a pickoff play, and it's a set play where the catcher throws the ball to the pitcher, and the pitcher, as soon as he gets it, wheels and throws without even looking, because the catcher's already set it up.
What do we see him do a couple weeks against the Cubs?
Who
they get?
I can't remember. Should.
I want to say Randall, but I don't think it was Randall.
Can't remember. Seen him do it a couple times.
2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, 2-0 Pittsburgh leading. Struck him out. Robinson, a big strikeout. 8 strikeouts in the ball game. And that ends the 7th inning, so the Pirates get out of the jam. Expos do not score. End of 7, 2-0. Pittsburgh over the Expos.
Thunderbird, a car of contemporary size, style, and a distinctive shape that moves easily through the air, helping Thunderbird deliver surprising mileage. With electronic options like digital speedometer, fuel gauge, and the only automatic overdrive made in America. It all adds up to a special kind of style, pride, excitement in Thunderbird. A great name, a great car from Ford.
My Tex got more.
Yep.
My man got more.
Yeah.
My George got more.
Uh-huh. More close shaves for Blade.
Super 2 Ultrex gives more close shaves than Track 2. Watch. One push pushes out soap and stubble. Your twin blades start clean, sharp for more close shaves. Ultrex slides on Track 2 razors, clicks on Atra. Get Ultrex for more close shaves.
Hey, more close shaves than Track 2.
If our ordinary air filter will last you 6 months, the Fram Extra Life can last you 9 months. Because inside, instead of 1 filter, the Fram Extra Life has 2 filters to trap 50% more dirt. In tests, it lasted 50% longer than our ordinary filter. 50% longer. But it doesn't cost you any more money. So why not change your old filter for the Fram Extra Life? After all, you get 50% extra life at no extra cost.
Well, there were a couple surprises in week 1 of the football season, and tomorrow, NBC Sports will bring you week 2 of the 1980 football season. We'll start, as always, with NFL 80, and then most of you will see the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Colts, or the Oakland Raiders against the San Diego Chargers. And we'll be regionalizing, so there'll be some other regional games. That's tomorrow on NBC. Check your local listing for the game and time in your area. Boy, the 2 beauties, the Steeler and Colts, and Raiders and Chargers. Football. 51,305 here. Fastball is a strike on Gardner. Rogers, after 7 innings, has made 93 pitches. Robinson has made 100 pitches after 7. Curveball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gardner flied to right and flied to center. He's 0 for 2. Came into the game hitting .261. Pops this one up. Chris Spire, the shortstop, says, "I'll take it." One-handed catch by the shortstop.
After the one-handed shortstop catchers. We've seen one other shortstop do that this year. We've seen a lot of outfielders do it.
Robinson will bat for himself, and I kind of expect him to get a little bit of a hand. Let's see if it happens. Must be sitting on him. Well, they got gloves on. Or they're handcuffed. Or they're asleep. Or it's an oil painting.
Well, it's a hometown crowd.
Strike 1. That applause rivals only the applause that Tony Kubek got in Milwaukee when he hit 2 home runs in the World Series for the Yankees against the Milwaukee Braves. Ground ball. Chris Spire has it. Easy out.
You know, you think of Canadian baseball as being something unique and new. The Dodgers had a farm team in the minor leagues for many years. You guys like Jackie Robinson came through here. This is where the Dodgers tried to hide Roberto Clemente, who would be drafted. So, in fact, Dick Williams managed for 2 years in Toronto. Sparky Anderson's managed up here. Tanner's been in this area. So they've got a pretty good heritage of baseball up in Montreal and Toronto. So let's watch Willie Montañez on this throw from Chris Spire. Mr. Magic. Willie made it look easy.
Ah, see. The reason for the delay is Moreno's going to take all the time he can. Here you see Montanez, Monchak, the Pittsburgh coach. Moreno's just now walking up to home plate. Give Robinson a chance to rest. Usually
he might
take
even
the
step
first
out.
pitch. Yeah, take the first pitch. Yeah. He's 0 for 3. He was called out on strikes his last time.
Ow, wow. That's a bad
hit
spot for him to get hit, right in the knee.
That hit him.
He was taking all the weight, Joe, like you said, and I think he got careless. He just wasn't reacting. He was going to take this pitch.
Ooh, that got him right on the kneecap.
You bet.
I'll tell you, the guy that runs the scoreboard here, he has some... They want Tony Barterom to come running out here. Some great cartoons. That's what he's got up there now. A high, tight fastball before he had a razor and some shaving cream. Close shave. Moreno really got hit hard.
It's the second time this year that Moreno's been hit by pitches.
Yankees 4, Boston 2 at the end of 6 as Moreno's been attended to. John against Crawford. At the end of 8, it's the New York Mets 4, Chicago Cubs 2. St. Louis at Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Cincinnati, San Francisco at Houston, San Diego at Atlanta tonight. And it's a 5-1 score. Baltimore over Toronto in the 5th. Murray a home run. That game delayed by rain. May have started it. And it's Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland leading that game 4-2 at the end of 7. Gura for Kansas City against McCarty in Oakland. And tonight is Texas at California, Minnesota, Chicago. Minnesota's at Chicago. And Milwaukee's at Chicago according to our scorecard, and that's going to be some series, boy. They're going to be busy going back and forth. We'll find out the real schedule. I got Steve Dance jumping around now. Milwaukee at Seattle. All right.
Raiders got a big lead. Snap throw, pretty quick move by Rogers. Moreno does something. You expect a big, tall guy like Moreno, who's almost 6'4", to be down in the crouch. Maury Wills took him out of that crouch when he coached him when he was down in the Pirate Tramps camp, saying, hey, you get down in the crouch, you tighten up your muscles, you got to stand up, then you got to go. So he straightened him up. Really improved the technique of Moreno. He's got a little shorter lead this time.
He's 85 for 111. Diving back again. He's gotten him. He's making it close, though, Tony. Got some pretty good stats as far as stealing against Montreal. He has stolen 10 times in 13 attempts. Good lead. There he goes. Carter's got a good ball to handle. Safe.
He went head first, though, Joe. He was talking about most of the times that, or many of the times he's been caught stealing this year, it's because he's had to go feet first. The base, or the hitter rather, Foley does a job decoying Carter, got it his way as much as he could. The head first slide, Fremming inside the bag, as American leaguers have gone this year. The umpires, little low throw, second low throw in this ball game that Carter has made, bouncing the ball.
He's jumping back there, Tony. On that first shot we had, great coverage of the throw. You can see him, instead of stepping into it, he kind of jumps into his throw.
He's been one of the best in throwing out potential base stealers in the National League this year.
He's disgusted, and he didn't get Moreno because he had a good ball to handle. You can see he's still disgusted. But as he took the ball, he jumped into it, and that'll force you off many times.
Montreal catchers have thrown out 61 of 101 attempted base stealers this year. That's not all Carter, of course, but mostly Carter. It's a good percentage.
Fastball misses. Rogers is really disgusted. He thought that was a strike, but it's 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. We're in the 8th. Pittsburgh's out in front 2-0, and Moreno's on at second.
Up till a few years ago, they talked about Rogers, that this is what got him in trouble. He's matured a lot since then, but when something went wrong, he got very upset with himself and let him bother him, and he couldn't pitch. He settled down.
Foul tip. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Remember a few years back when he was having some problems pitching with his good stuff, and I don't know who it was, said that he's too smart to be a good pitcher. He thinks too much. He wants to nibble, and he gets himself in trouble. I don't know if you're going to be too smart to be a pitcher. But you can't nibble too much.
Foul ball. Moreno at second base. We're in the 8th inning. Pittsburgh's out in front 2-0. Easler hit a home run in the second for the first run. And a walk to Easler, stolen base, and a single by Milner. Easler scored both runs. One base on balls given up by Rogers. It has come home to haunt him. Now he's hit Moreno. Moreno stole second. He's waiting to be driven in. There are 2 outs.
Middle of the 7th. Yankees lead over Boston 4-2. Yankees playing with some hurt players. Willie Randolph with a jammed shoulder. Of course, Nettles may be out the rest of the year. Hepatitis. Rupert Jones out, the center fielder. Had some trouble with their pitching staff. Hauser has really rallied that team. How do you pick a manager of the year in either league this year?
Boy, they got some real candidates.
I think this year that award's going to be a farce because there are too many guys who've done a good job.
There goes Moreno, going to steal third. Ball is hit to center field. Should be no problem for Dawson. He makes the catch. So that ends the 8th inning. And the scores, we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Pittsburgh 2, Montreal nothing. It'll be Spire, probably a pinch hitter, and Scott for the Expos in the 8th.
Are you paying through the nose for your deodorant? Why waste money? Get on the stick. Speed Stick Solid Deodorant from Menon. Look, you'd use up 2 3-ounce sprays and start a third before you'd use up 1 2.5-ounce Speed Stick. Not only that, Speed Stick is effective. 60% more effective against odor than the leading deodorant spray. So why pay through the nose for an aerosol?
Why waste money?
Try Speed Stick Solid Deodorant from Menon.
Dorsal, you did remember to send the document to Denver.
Denver.
You know the deadline's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Pickett, I assume you sent the slides to Seattle for the sales meeting tomorrow?
Fortunately, Bingham here sent the blueprints to Birmingham for the big meeting tomorrow. Isn't that right, Bingham?
Next time you blow it, remember, there's always Federal Express, but it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. 51,305 here in the ballpark, and what a ball game they're seeing here in Montreal. And there's the skyline of this beautiful city, St. Lawrence River. Delightfully cool here.
And that right back there, I think, is how the town got its name. Mount Royal, Montreal. It stands for Royal Mountain. You tell me about your French class.
Oh, no. I said knuckleball on the plane coming up here. I call it a papillon. I came up with Jocko Conlon to Chicago.
You
and I
didn't
was
say too much, did you?
No, I had to listen a lot. Hey, he told me one great story, though. Chris Spire is the leadoff man. High ball one. He said, you guys talk about Wade Hoyt being 81 years old last week. He said, I saw Wade and I told him, I said, hey, listen, I was in the 7th grade when you were pitching. I'm 80 and you're only 81. You don't have to tell your baseball age. Spire takes it high. 2 balls and no strikes. Two balls, no strikes.
Pirates bullpen is going. Robinson gets behind Spire very quickly. Probably be a pinch hitter. In fact, Jerry White's come out on deck for Montreal.
There's the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Switch hitter, Jerry White on deck. Rogers has pitched well, but you need runs.
Foul back. I tell you, we came out in the cab today, and you know these ball players. Tell you, listening to the radio, trying to get those scores. Philadelphia and St. Louis last night. soon as we said, I wonder what happened in the second game, Ed Ott says Cardinals won it. Right now, Montreal leading Philadelphia by 2, Pittsburgh by 4.5, but the Pirates are leading here 2-0. 8th inning. Curveball stays inside. Dodgers and Houston identical. 80 wins, 60 losses. Cincinnati only 3.5 out. Atlanta 8 games out. Baltimore 4 behind New York. Going right down to the wire with these races. Big ball game here. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. He's on. Time runs at the plate. And now he's being called back.
Now what Williams is going to do is, if the first runner or hitter Spire made out, he probably would have sent out White to get something going. Now he'll send up somebody with a little more power, John Tamargo, who can hit the ball in the ballpark, and we'll also see a pinch runner for the Expos. Pinch runner is going to be Tim Raines. He's an infielder. It's number 30, Felipe Alou, giving him some instructions. He'll run for Spire. And you better believe that Alou is saying, listen, your run means nothing. Don't get doubled off on a line drive. Make sure the ball touches the ground before you move. Watch the pickoff. Now he's getting his legs loose, running down the right field foul line.
Which is a good idea. He's been sitting on the bench. There you see Spire. And that Montreal bench. Tamargo will be the pinch hitter for Rogers. That's the first base on balls. Given up by Robinson, who is checking with his defense. Tamargo hitting .222, 4 for 18 as a pinch hitter. .239 overall. He's a switch hitter. He'd be batting left-handed against Robinson. .294 hitter left-handed. 2-0 Pittsburgh out in front. High, ball 1. We're in the 8th inning. Now Ott wants to talk to his pitcher. Pittsburgh bullpen busy. They've got their aces going.
Hey, there's a cheer for the Bus Squad. That's Tom Hutton's group. In fact, he's written the song lyrics and the words. Hutton, pretty good musician. Bus Squad, the bench. Let's see. The Cubs have got the Pine Brothers. That's Larry Bittner's group. Tamargo's big year in the minor leagues for a home run was 10 to New Orleans in AAA ball.
Down the right field line, near the line, Parker, does he have room? It is a foul ball in the stands. Parker, you see, dejected. He was there. Just ran out of ballpark. 1 ball and 1 strike on John Tamargo, the pinch hitter. Bus Squad, and Tony's got those lyrics out.
I won't do the whole lyrics. What Bus Squad stands for is the B stands for broke. That's sometimes true. U means underrated through and through. S is for the superstars. We're not, but we always get our all and never stop.
Get the net, folks.
Got
him. He picked him off. The one thing that we didn't want to have happen, and now they're going to have an argument. Here comes Williams.
You talked earlier about the quick pickoff move that Don Robinson had, and he just showed it. Williams is going to have his say-so with Terry Tata. He was leaning. Here's the throw to Milner. Alou is blocking off the hand as the ball and the glove touch the hand. But Tata was right there. He did lean, though, Joe.
He was leaning.
He was leaning towards second base, trying to get a good jump in the event of having to break up a double play. So it's no longer the tying run at home plate. Dick Williams going to leave Tamargo hit. Now he can now set back up Jerry White to get on and start this.
That's low. 2 balls and 1 strike on Tamargo.
Here's another look. You saw the weight on Raines' right foot leaning towards second base. He slaps the throw right down at the corner of the bag, and the glove is there before the hand comes in. Alou did not argue a whole lot. He'd be the guy really would have let loose, I think.
It looks like Milner was able to get that glove between Raines and the bag.
He put that glove right on the corner of the base, the outfield side that the base runners go for. He didn't swipe at the runner. A good tag and a good snap pickoff throw.
The way he was positioned looked like he had half the bag covered with his right foot, Milner did, knowing that the only place he had to protect was from half the bag to the outfield side, and he put that glove there and got a big out. Foul ball.
We've had 3 close calls on the bases today. Kibler had the tough call. Tough call at second base for Fleming. Tata just had a tough call.
Right.
And we prove once again the umpires are 99% right. But please don't get us on us when we do say you missed one when the replays show it.
Ball 3.
We know you guys are almost perfect.
And we know that because you always tell us every week. We are almost perfect. Foul out of play.
At times, in fact, Kenny Fouts was on the plane coming. He's our director, and he pops up those replays along with our producer, George Finkel, but he was on the plane with Kibler, and Kibler said, you guys always only replay the ones we miss. We just played first base 3 times. It's one they've made. And at second base and at home.
Popped up. Weak swing. Should be an easy play for Madlock. It is. He was fooled completely. I don't think that since we've come into the ballpark, we've ever been greeted with a hello. It starts out, you so-and-so guys, always with, and then here we go. But they've had some tough plays, good calls, and a good ball game. Don't have to tell you about the importance of this series. So we look at Scott. Scott is 0 for 3. Left field. Should be no problem for Easler. He's waiting. He makes the catch. So it ends up a 1-2-3 inning in the 8th inning. We complete 8 innings of baseball here. The score, Pittsburgh 2, Montreal nothing. Parker, Easler, and Madlock in the 9th for Pittsburgh.
Now comes Miller time. The flag is dropped, the race is a memory. And now you're coasting into the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, if you've got the time, we've got the beer. If you've got the time.
If you haven't tuned up your engine lately, put in a fresh set of Champion spark plugs. Fresh Champions once a year can keep your starts on cue. You can't buy a better plug.
I know, you're not getting a terrific shave from your electric razor. Maybe there's nothing wrong with your razor. Maybe there's something wrong with your face. Your beard is just laying there. Make it stand up with this. Williams Electric Shave. Look, every leading razor manufacturer tells you, use a pre-shave. Most people use electric shave. It gets your beard to stand up, so your razor shaves closer and with less irritation. Williams Electric Shave. Makes your beard stand up. Makes your razor shave better.
Thursday on Games People Play, the arm wrestling finals, girls gymnastics, and another dangling escape above a pool of hungry sharks. Games People Play Thursday on NBC.
The new shortstop for the Montreal Expos, Jerry Manuel. And the new pitcher, Woody Fryman.
Fryman, he just comes in, throws strikes, and go to it, boys. There is an outside view. Olympic Stadium, the Olympic Complex. We're right down inside that domed area.
So Dave Parker leads it off here. Parker 0 for 3. Fair ball. Extra bases for Parker. He rounds first. He's digging hard. He'll go in with a double. So on the first pitch by Fryman, Parker doubles to right. And the Mets defeat the Cubs 4-2. They snap a 13-game losing streak.
Fryman this year, 6 wins, 4 losses. Very impressive ERA, 2.13. He's been in 53 ball games. This is 54. All in relief. For an old guy, he struck out 52 and 72 in the 3rd innings. He started his baseball career professionally They found him pitching semi-pro baseball. Worked that tobacco farm of his for many years. I don't think he played in the major leagues until he was about 29, as I recall.
He's 40 right now. Turned 40 April 12th. Born in Ewing, Kentucky, April 12th, 1940. Still lives in Ewing, Kentucky. 1965 was his first year with Batavia. He's got Parker at second base. Mike Easler, who's had himself quite a day as a batter. It's outside, ball one. Easler hit a home run in the second. He bounced out in the fourth. Walked, stole second, and scored the second run on a base hit by Milner.
He was robbed of that base hit in the fourth by Scott as he went up the middle and somehow caught the ball and threw him out.
1 ball and 1 strike. With men in scoring position. Easler hitting at .362.
Trying to pull the ball with nobody out and a runner at second base, but that's not easy off Fryman. Fastball slider. Power pitcher Woody Fryman. How many times over the last 8-9 years have you heard Woody Fryman say, I'm going back to that tobacco farm and go back into farming, I'm getting out of baseball, and then that year comes around to give him another contract?
Little looper, center field. Dawson coming in. He can't get it. Parker will have to stop at third. Easler has himself another base hit. It's first and third, nobody out, and Madlock the batter.
And that's Monchak talking to Easler now as Fryman's in deep trouble, but did you see Dave Parker coming to third base? He barely stood up. Nice try. He tried to keep the ball in front of him, then he can't find it, but he did keep Parker from scoring and hold the runner at first base. Joe Lynette, if you look at the replay once again, the third base coach said this has been his toughest year for coaching third base because guys like Parker, great base runners, they used to normally send home. I can't anymore because of his bad knee. He's saying that he had him thrown out at home plate on a close play a couple of weeks ago, and Parker limped off. He said, I never felt so badly in my whole life. He's a superstar, and I send him in, and I thought I ruined his career.
Lynette going over all the possibilities as Madlock just waits. It's a big conference on the mound now. Sosa's been throwing in the bullpen. Fryman will be pitching to Madlock. Nobody out. Top of the ninth. Pittsburgh out in front, 2-0. Looking to the bottom half of the ninth inning, Montreal will send up Office, Dawson, and Montañez as the second, third, and fourth place hitters. Outside, ball one.
That infield's in. Cut that runner off home plate. They'll concede a double play, but they can't afford to give up any more runs the way Robinson's pitching.
Foul ball out of play.
You know, Joe, it was Woody Fryman read the Montreal papers yesterday when we came in, who said before yesterday's game that this Montreal team still does not completely believe in itself. And I get one of the comments he made. He said, until you do it one time and win a pennant, they're always going to be doubters. And they won yesterday. I'm sure they felt better today, but could be close again after this ball game.
Fastball misses.
But as if Pittsburgh wins the ball game.
2 balls and 1 strike. Bill Madlock. Nobody out. Parker's at third. Easler's at first. Bouncing ball. Fryman. He's going to go to first. Heading for second. Easler. Parker stays at third.
He goes to second where he might have had a shot. He keeps the double play. Now it's second and third. Billy Madlock tried to hit the ball to the right side in the hole between second and first. Fryman worried about Parker, bluffed him back, and only got the out at first base. Now the runners on second and third. No double play situation.
So it brings up John Milner. Milner drove in the second Pirate run with a single to right field. He had another base hit in the fifth when his ground ball hit the base runner Madlock, and he bounced out to the first baseman unassisted. Asked the third base umpire, says Carter. No, says Dick Stello, so it's ball one. Easler's at second, Parker's at third. 1 out. Ground ball, base hit. Parker's going to score. Easler is going to be held up at third. It's a 3-0 ball game.
The difference might have been, if it had been first and third, Dick Williams, again, might have elected to play his infield a double play depth. He's a little bit deeper. He may have turned the double play. Look at how much ground when you play in, even with the bags. Rodney Scott with excellent range, just can't get it because he takes about one step and the ball scoots through on the turf.
Tony Parker is the big man on this club, but this game is pretty indicative of this whole Pittsburgh club as we see Willie Stargell, who is not going to be of much help to the club the rest of the way. Easler, 2 base hits, 2 runs scored. He's at third. Milner, 3 base hits, 2 RBIs. Ed Ott, the infield is halfway. Ott is 0 for 3. High and tight, ball 1.
It makes this game so intriguing, though, doesn't it? Had Woody Fryman bluffed Parker back and gone to second, they might have been out of the inning with just 2 runs. As they move back now with runners on first and third.
Ground ball to Fryman. He goes to second. 1 out. Drops the ball.
He had the ball out of his glove.
He had the ball out of his glove, so Milner is out, but the run scores.
That's a play we were talking about in Toronto just 2 nights ago. I was sitting with Johnny Stevens, who was a former American League umpire, and he said, once that guy down in the pivot pulls the ball out of his glove in the bare hands, the play is completed. We'll watch, Manuel. Ball's in the... Well, it came out of both hands. He was taking it out. He didn't have it completely out, but Bruce Fremming says, and that's another judgment call that Fremming has, a tough one. Said he had control of the ball. He was taking it out in his bare hand, so he at least gets the force out. But might have allowed a run to come home.
Dick Williams has added a few more gray hairs to the temple. He's had some tough plays to watch today. He had a tie-and run at the plate situation with a man on first and put a pinch run in and got him picked off. Garner. A base hit. Garner singles into center field. Ott stops at second. Woody Fryman, a rough outing. So Don Robinson will bat for himself. 2 runs are in. 4-0. We're in the 9th inning. The Expos have made just 8 errors in the last 20 games. And those outfielders have 36 assists in 1980.
LaFleur leads the ball club with 14, Dawson 11, Valentine 6 outfield assists, and is always not a true indicator. As LaFleur's arm is all but gone this year. He hurt his shoulder, so they're running a little bit more on him.
That's a strike to Robinson. Robinson lined to the shortstop in the 3rd inning, bounced out to the shortstop in the 6th, and again in the 8th. Foul back. 2 quick strikes. This inning started with a double by Parker, a single by Easler. It was 1st and 3rd. Madlock bounced out. Milner singled. Out into a force play. 4 base hits so far. Down the left field line, it is foul. Next Saturday, Yankees and Red Sox. Montreal at St. Louis. Be our games. You check the listings in your area for the game in your area.
If Pittsburgh holds on to this lead, they will drop just 3.5 games behind Montreal and Philadelphia. If they would win, they could drop, well, they could move up to just a game behind Montreal.
It's tight.
You betcha.
1-2 pitch now to Don Robinson. Taps it. Woody Fryman off the mound will have to make the play himself. He does to Montanez. That gets Robinson. Ends the inning, but the Pirates pick up 2 big runs. We go into the bottom half of the 9th inning. It's Pittsburgh 4, Montreal nothing. Offers Dawson and Montanez for the Expos in the bottom of the 9th.
There's a feeling deep inside you, a spirit you just can't hide. And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
You don't need a haircut, Mr. Reed. You need Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Sure. Your hair's short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill Cream's so concentrated, just a little dab keeps my hair healthy looking and in control all day. Watch. Without Brill Cream, hair's out of control. With Brill Cream, hair stays in control. Try a little dab. See? Terrific, huh?
You're right. With Brill Cream, a little dab will do you.
Let's check the scoreboard and see how Coleco's head-to-head electronic baseball stacks up against the competition. Sure, some games have base stealing and pitch selection. But for real two-player action, only head-to-head baseball has computed batting averages for each player, hitting for average or for extra power, 16 pitching variations, including a pitch-out, extra innings scoring, and more. It's no contest. Get head-to-head electronic baseball by Coleco, now that you know the score.
Zinc, not just a mineral dug from the ground, but one of the essential nutrients your body needs. So essential it should be part of your diet every day. So essential it's been added to Stress Tabs. Stress Tab 600 with zinc. Stress Tab 600 with zinc can help reinforce your diet with 23 milligrams of zinc in a high-potency formula that concentrates on the vitamins your body can't store. Stress Tab 600 with zinc from Letterly Laboratories.
Well, we've had a big argument going on all during the commercial. Dick Williams has been thrown out of the game. There he goes.
Rodney Scott, Joe, was coming off the field, the Expos second baseman, and the next thing we looked up, Scott was in a heated argument with Terry Tata, the first base umpire. Don't know who started or why it started, but they went at it. Felipe Lou, the first base coach, got between them. Tata then continued to argue with Scott. Williams came out. Fleming got in, as did Kibler and Stello. Next thing you know, Fleming came over and kicked out Dick Williams.
Williams went out there to protect his ball player, and next thing you know, Williams was in an argument with Fleming, and he was really, I don't know what he said, but he said it in a hurry because he was gone in a hurry.
It started between Rodney Scott and Terry Tata. Now Williams is going to give control over to the club. Has he also thrown Scott out?
He must have. Both of them are leaving.
He probably gave it to Scott. Yeah. Williams is escorting him to the clubhouse. So I'm assuming, or we're assuming, that Tata threw Scott out for the argument that started from what we don't know. They were really jawing at it. Williams came out to protect him. Fleming threw Williams out. One thing that, well, a couple umpires did in that situation, they followed the player. If a player or manager or coach argues too vigorously with an umpire chases, they kick him out. Now they're throwing things at Parker and Wright. Parker's getting thrown at things at him and Wright.
Well, while this is going on, let's pause for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
The crowd here, 51,305. Well, they had some controversy last night. They got bigger controversy today. I'd like to know what the argument was about. We're trying to find out. The Scott and Tata really went at it. And pretty soon, here comes Kibler down from home plate. Stello from third, Fleming from first, and Williams got in between them. And then Williams and Fleming got into it, and pretty soon Williams was on the launching pad.
I don't understand why the fans are throwing things at Parker. I guess that's the price you pay for being a superstar. He will not go back out. He is coming in. I'm sure they'll make a PA announcement that the people who are doing this, if they could catch him, would be ejected from the ballpark. It was Parker earlier this year in Pittsburgh where they threw what? Nuts and bolts at him, batteries at him and things.
Right.
And he refused to take the field and put a pretty good blast on some Pirate fans.
Kibler's going to ask him to make an announcement now. I wish he would tell us what the argument was about.
Warren Cromartie comes out to right field from the bench. The man who did the lineup for you before the ballgame from Montreal. He say, cool it, guys. I remember Yogi Berra, the Cincinnati playoffs when Rose upended Bud Harrelson. Second base, the fans were all over Rose, and Yogi went out along with a couple of players. Siebert, right, the fans in Shea Stadium.
Detroit and Cleveland at the end of 9 are tied at 4 apiece. And at
Baltimore-Toronto, we've got to the bottom of the 5th, delayed by rain. As we look at young Dale Berra, Parker's walking off the field. Baltimore 5, Toronto 1.
Parker's getting a helmet is what he's doing. He came all the way to the Tanner, told him what's going on, threw his soft cap in. He's going to go back out, but it's going to be with a batting helmet.
Yankees 4, Boston 2 at the end of 8. And the Mets beat the Cubs 4-2. Final. That snapped a 13-game losing streak.
NBC's Game of the Week has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealers, who bring you the better idea cars and trucks for the 80s. And by Lowenbrau. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. And by Laterly Laboratories, makers of stress tabs, vitamins your body doesn't store. And by Brill Cream, a little dab will do you. Well, the umpires meeting now around home plate. John Kibler as Parker picks up some of the debris. Kibler explaining it to Tanner. It's 4-0. Pittsburgh out in front. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. And as the top of the 9th ended, Rodney Scott got into the big argument and was thrown out of the game. So Kibler's about ready. So it's been quite a rhubarb here. Rodney Scott got into an argument with the umpire at first base, Terry Tata, and then Dick Williams came out to help his ball player. This was just a few moments ago. We taped it, and now Williams is getting the word into Tata. Now watch Kibler trying to say, let's go. And right about here, Bruce Freeman, who's kind of trailing the play, the umpire looks like Spanky right here. Now he gets in a discussion. Now watch what happens. He's setting him up for the launching pad, and pretty soon Dick Williams will say the magic word. The duck came down, and there goes Dick Williams. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in Montreal. We're finally going to get the 9th inning going. Fastball by Robinson is outside the office. Ball 1. It's 4-0 Pittsburgh over the Expos. 2 runs in the 9th inning for Pittsburgh. And they have a 4-0 lead here in the 9th. There is ball 2. A home run by Easler in the 2nd inning. A walk and a stolen base by Easler. Scored on Milner's base hit. That was in the 7th. And then 2 runs in the 9th, and it's 4-0. And there's the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Office, 1 for 3. Robinson has pitched a very strong game. He struck out 8. He's walked 1. He has allowed just 4 base hits. That's out of play. Tony Kubek has made his way down to the field. Office with the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. And 9th inning for Pittsburgh was a double by Parker to lead it off. A single by Easler. Parker stopped at 3rd. Madlock tapped. 2nd and 3rd. Parker did not score. Milner then a base hit, drove in a run. Out hit into a force play to drive in the 2nd run. Count remains at 2-2. Pittsburgh bullpen busy. Rodney Scott and Dick Williams ejected. There you see Tucovy. Recognize that delivery, and the left-hander is Grant Jackson. Foul ball out of play. Count remains at 2-2. We've had a rhubarb. I bet old Ron Luciano, if he was able to listen to us in Fenway Park, wishing he was right in the middle of it as the peacemaker. 2-2 pitch. 3-2. These Pirates. Home run by Easler. Walk and a stolen base by Easler in a single. 2 runs and then 2 runs in the 9th. 3-2 pitch. It's popped up in the infield. Milner says, I'll take it. Waves everybody off, and there's 1 out. So it's 4-0. 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Pittsburgh leading.